Chapter 175, the crucial key to the immortal artifact. After the divine weapon took form and passed the heavenly tribulation, all weapons across the land hummed in submission. This weapon was truly worthy of becoming the king among divine weapons. However, after all the world's armaments submitted to it, this divine weapon fled and vanished, never to be seen again. As for the one who forged it, their soul had already scattered and dissipated. Therefore, upon seeing these diamond profound stones, how could Yanlei not feel shocked? A grand gesture, this was truly a grand gesture. To be able to forge these diamond profound stones, one would undoubtedly need to be a super expert. Moreover, these were placed inside an immortal artifact. Thus, it could be deduced that these items were very likely remnants left behind by the immortal artifact's original owner. However, what made Yanlei suspicious and astonished was this: if these items were so precious, left behind by the immortal artifact's original owner, why hadn't all the grand elders of the profound mechanism sect taken them? One must know that these items could absolutely elevate the profound mechanism sect by an entire level. Perhaps it was because they simply hadn't discovered this place. But no matter what, these items now conveniently belong to Yanlei. Good stuff. These are diamond profound stones. And these are top-grade spirit stones. More top-grade spirit stones. And this? This is stellar iron. And ink cloud stone. All of these are rare treasures, truly. Even the profound mechanism sect doesn't possess so much of them. Gu Jing was broad-minded and knowledgeable, she could name most of these items. We've struck it rich. Truly struck it rich. Are these things real? If they're real, then why haven't the profound mechanism sect's elders taken them? At this moment, Yang Qingshui voiced the suspicion in Yanlei's heart. This? In truth, the location we're in, within this immortal artifact space, the elders can only barely grasp its control. In other words, this immortal artifact fundamentally hasn't acknowledged a master. The elders can only use a portion of its authority, they haven't thoroughly refined it, nor can they fully grasp or control the immortal artifact, Gu Jing explained. So that's how it is. In other words, this immortal artifact is actually an ownerless immortal artifact, isn't it? Yanlei said. Gu Jing nodded lightly. Indeed, that is the case. Hearing Gu Jing's explanation, Yanlei's heart stirred uncontrollably. If he could gain the immortal artifact's recognition and become its master, wouldn't that be an explosive boon? But this could only remain a thought. Such a good fortune, how could one encounter it so easily? What do we do with these things now? Gu Jing looked at Yanlei and asked. What do we do? Of course, we take whatever we can. Does that even need asking? Yanlei said with a chuckle. Thus, the three began a grand sweep, taking everything they could. However, when Yanlei touched a transparent crystal orb, an astonishing scene unfolded. The crystal orb actually floated up into the air, then transformed into a seven-colored beam of light that merged into the center of Yanlei's forehead. You. Are you all right? Gu Jing and Yang Qingshui were startled by the sudden transformation. At this moment, Yanlei slowly opened his eyes, a few new things now present in his mind. I'm fine, Yanlei replied, then began to sort through the information transmitted by the crystal orb. It turned out this crystal orb was none other than the pagoda core, the crucial key to the immortal artifact. Controlling and refining this small crystal orb was tantamount to thoroughly refining the immortal artifact itself, thereby becoming the true master of the exquisite immortal pagoda immortal artifact. Undoubtedly, Yanlei was fortunate, the exquisite immortal pagoda had automatically chosen its master. However, at present, he truly couldn't fully control the exquisite immortal pagoda. He could only perceive and utilize a portion of the immortal artifact's functions. If Yanlei were to reach the martial god realm, perhaps he could completely control the exquisite immortal pagoda. Of course, even without full control, Yanlei's authority was far greater than that of Elder Channy and the others. If Yanlei wished, he could at any time revoke Elder Channy's control over the immortal artifact. However, Yanlei couldn't do that. What a joke. If he did, it would be no different from seeking death. Would the profound mechanism sect agree to Yanlei controlling this exquisite immortal pagoda? The answer was, of course, clear. How could such a powerful immortal artifact be allowed to be controlled by a mere disciple? Therefore, unless he broke through to the martial god realm, Yanlei absolutely would not thoroughly revoke the elder's control. Otherwise, if it were traced back to him, it would undoubtedly be courting death. Are you truly all right? Gu Jing looked at Yang Lei, asking with deep concern. I'm really fine. Yang Lei naturally wouldn't tell the two girls about having obtained the exquisite immortal pagoda's pagoda core. After all, this secret was too astonishing. It's good that you're all right. Hearing Yang Lei's words, Gu Jing couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief. The items have been safely collected, so let's leave this place now. Yang Lei and Yang Qingshui nodded lightly. Upon exiting this heavenly ancient tree, Yang Lei couldn't help but exclaim, this ancient tree is the true treasure. If one could refine it, that would be striking it rich. Don't even think about it. This ancient tree, I believe even Elder Channy, a martial god, might not necessarily be able to refine it. You're only in the martial king realm, how could you possibly? Stop daydreaming, Gu Jing said dismissively, hearing his words. The martial god realm? It's only a matter of time. I will definitely reach the martial god realm within 10 years. Yang Lei said confidently. To advance from the 4th stage of martial emperor to the martial god realm within 10 years, the difficulty was no ordinary feat. Some people couldn't even enter the martial saint realm in 10 years, let alone martial god. Ambitious, aren't we? If you can advance to the martial god realm within 10 years, I'll call you Big Brother Yang, Gu Jing said. Hearing this, Yang Lei immediately rolled his eyes and said, I'll just defeat you in the 3 rounds of selection, won't I? Why wait until I break through to the martial god realm? Alright then, if you advance to the martial god realm within 10 years, I'll grant you 3 requests. Of course, if you don't advance to the martial god realm within 10 years, then you'll grant me 3 requests. How about that? These 3 requests would require unconditional obedience. So, what do you say? Do you dare to make this bet? Gu Jing looked at Yang Lei and said. Equals 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 Chapter 176, Kill, Show No Mercy. 1. Dung Loi smiled and said, what is there to fear? I agree to your terms. If it were an ordinary person, they truly wouldn't dare to gamble with her, but Dung Loi was not afraid. With the omnipotent cultivation system in hand, what was there to worry about? Dung Loi was absolutely certain he could break through the martial emperor realm within 3 years and reach martial saint. And within no more than 7 years, entering the martial god realm would not be difficult either. Moreover, it was possible he wouldn't even need 3 years to advance to martial saint. In Dung Loi's eyes, the martial god realm was merely his true goal. Then it's settled. We need to write a proper agreement. Otherwise, if you change your mind later, what will I do? Ko Tin said joyfully, hearing Dung Loi agree. She was keenly aware that in this wind and cloud selection, she was, in all likelihood, no match for Dung Loi. However, with this 10-year pact, it was possible to reverse the situation. Dung Loi was surprised. Is that really necessary? Necessary, absolutely. Necessary. Elder Tian, they've appeared. Dung Loi, Ko Tin, and the 3rd person have appeared. The moment Dung Loi, Ko Tin, and their companions stepped out from under the ancient trees, Lai Nam and his group immediately detected their presence. They're fine. They're fine. Tianyi breathed a sigh of relief, seeing Dung Loi and his 2 companions completely unharmed. Dongdung also patted her chest and murmured, I knew it. Any man I, Dongdung, set my eyes on would be fine. The 3 listening immediately fell silent. Keep an eye on them. We cannot let them disappear again this time. Otherwise, if anything happens, it will be truly troublesome, Tianyi instructed. From now on, you will watch them closely. No accidents must befall them. Understood, Elder Tian. Rest assured, we will not let them out of our sight, Lai Nam thumped his chest and said. Alright, you can guarantee it, but my guarantee is even more solid. To prevent my future husband from meeting with misfortune, I will certainly watch him closely, Dongdung declared. Dongdung, you're not serious, are you? Do you really intend to become that brat's Dao companion? Lai Nam frowned, hearing this. When have I, Dongdung, ever spoken idly? What I've decided, I never change. Dung Loi is my fated one, Dongdung said, every word firm and resolute. You. How can you choose him as your Dao companion? Who I choose as my Dao companion is none of your business. What right do you have to question me? Dongdung shot him a look of utter disgust. Enough, stop bickering. I don't care about anything else, but the most important thing right now is that nothing must happen to them. If anything does happen, then you'll all be thrown into the ninefold water prison. Elder Tianyi's brow furrowed, saying with great impatience. Someone was spying on them. Junloi frowned slightly. After a moment's thought, he realized that the only ones capable of spying on the three of them were Elder Tianyi and his group. Although Junloi didn't like being watched, he couldn't actually conceal them, as it would arouse suspicion. So, there was nothing he could do. Today, all three of them had over 100,000 spirit stones. Junloi had accumulated 240,000, while Ko Tin and Dung Tan Tui had 210,000 and 200,000 spirit stones respectively. Such achievements were absolutely unshakable. Therefore, along the way, the three of them didn't diligently search for spirit stones but rather toured the mountains and enjoyed the waters. Of course, the more important aspect was to train their combat skills and strength. Within these 2 days, Dung Tan Tui's cultivation had directly broken through to the Martial King 5th stage. Dung Loi's contribution to this was undeniable. He had provided no small amount of elixirs. What is that? Suddenly, not far away, an enormous figure appeared, like a towering mountain. With one stomp of its foot, the ground immediately quaked and mountains trembled. When Dung Loi clearly saw its full form, he couldn't help but gasp, so big. Appraisal skill. Ancient Mammoth, Peak 8th Tier Demonic Beast. Immense strength, unparalleled defense. An ancient mammoth. This is actually an ancient mammoth. Let's go, we shouldn't provoke this guy. Looking at the massive creature, Dung Loi felt bewildered. This guy was too terrifying, especially its monstrous defense. It was absolutely not something his own strength could break through, not even a martial saint-level martial artist could. Dung Loi had once seen records in the Yang family's scripture depository. These ancient mammoths were incredibly powerful. A mature ancient mammoth was at least a 9th tier sacred beast, and the most formidable ones absolutely surpassed the martial god realm. It seems this one's strength is weakened, he thought. If he could kill it, he would definitely make a fortune. However, Dung Loi knew his limits. This guy was too difficult to deal with. Even if he used the rainstorm pear blossom needles to attack the ancient mammoth's weak points, if he couldn't kill it quickly, it would only enrage the massive creature, causing it to launch a frenzied assault. That was not something the three of them could withstand. Therefore, this enticing thought remained merely a fantasy in his mind. An ancient mammoth? Yes. Let's go, we can't afford to provoke that thing, Dung Loi said, pulling the two girls backward. They had only retreated a few hundred meters when they encountered three other people. Young master, there are people here, and two beautiful girls at that. Really? Our brothers are truly blessed. The one called young master said, hearing this. Dung Loi felt a surge of annoyance. Such people were everywhere, but he didn't want to get tangled up with them. If they accidentally alerted that massive creature, things would become truly troublesome, it would be courting death. Scram, don't block our way. Dung Loi snorted coldly. Brat, if you know what's good for you, get lost and leave those two girls behind. Courting death. Dung Loi didn't speak, but Ko Tin couldn't hold back. Her longsword immediately left its sheath, a cold flash of light streaking towards the young master's head. A bodyguard by his side saw this and was startled, hastily shouting, "Young master, look out." Too late to react now. Ko Tin was a martial sovereign 4th stage expert, and her swordsmanship was incredibly exquisite. How could such a sword strike be easily defended against? He was on the verge of meeting his end in the Yellow Springs, but another bodyguard by his side forcefully pulled him back, literally dragging him away from the gates of hell. Nevertheless, even with that, the sword still cleanly sliced off one of his ears. Ah. Ah. It hurts like hell. The young master, his ear sliced off, cried out in agony. Equals 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 Chapter 177. Kill, show no mercy. 2. Kill him. Kill him for me. I want him dead. Dung Loi let out a cold laugh. These three fools were courting death. Today, Dung Loi was the official master of the Linglong Immortal Pagoda. Within its confines, killing could be truly fatal, with no possibility of revival outside. At this moment, Dung Loi's fury had already been ignited. Ko Tin, step aside. Let me handle this. Duong Loi spoke, his voice frigid. You? All right. Ko Tin startled, then retreated. Duong Loi didn't draw his blade. Instead, he simply walked forward, his eyes emanating a chilling coldness that everyone could perceive. The guard standing before him felt a shiver of dread run down his spine, a profound, deep-seated fear that originated from his very soul. You, what do you want to do? The guard stammered, backing away continuously. Useless trash. Why are you retreating? Kill him for me. Kill him now. Seeing his own guard openly recoil, the young master couldn't help but burn with shame and rage, bellowing loudly. Young master, the guard hesitated. You want to kill me? Heh heh. Duong Loi sneered. I'd like to see if you can kill me, or if I'll kill you instead. With that, Duong Loi produced a small flying dagger. It gleamed with a chilling light, striking dread into the hearts of all who beheld it. You too. Why are you just standing there dumbfounded? Kill him for me. The young master was furious, utterly enraged at these two guards. They clearly dared to disobey his orders, told to kill that brat, yet they hadn't even moved. Allow me to send you on your way. The flying dagger in Duong Loi's hand vanished in a blink. In that very instant, the guard who had been about to move instantly became a corpse. His eyes, once bright, quickly lost their luster, and he didn't even comprehend how he had died. At the same time, the system's notification chimed in Duong Loi's ear. Ding! Congratulations to player for slaying a Martial King 7th stage guard. EXP plus 700,000, Qigong value plus 7,000, accumulated points plus 7,000. Duong Loi knew clearly that this fellow had been utterly annihilated by him, not merely killed within the immortal artifact. He would have no means of revival outside. Watching Duong Loi approach step by step, the other guard was also terrified. This person's cultivation was truly monstrous, he hadn't even clearly seen how the flying dagger had been unleashed. In the blink of an eye, a man was dead. How could he not feel horror? If this person wished to deal with him, to kill him, it would be as easy as flipping his hand. You. Don't come any closer. Attack. Kill him for me. Kill him. The young master, on the other hand, grew even more panicked, fear welling up in his heart. However, it was truly but a fleeting moment. His inner rage quickly pushed aside his fear of Duong Loi, transforming instead into boundless fury and hatred. Nye Quan, as the son of Prime Minister Nye Ming of the Great Yuan Kingdom, had never once suffered such humiliation. How could he not feel enraged? How could he not harbor resentment? At this moment, Nye Quan hated Duong Loi and his two companions to the bone. Given the chance, he would surely ensure that all three of them died without a burial place. Whoosh! This time, Duong Loi didn't use a flying dagger, but rather the sole pursuit. An arrow pierced the throat of Nye Quan's other guard. He had no time to react whatsoever before Duong Loi effortlessly struck him down. Ding! Congratulations to player for slaying a Martial King 6th stage guard. EXP plus 600,000, Qigong value plus 6,000, accumulated points plus 6,000. You, what do you want to do? Watching Duong Loi draw closer step by step, Nye Quan was truly terrified. If he were killed, he might not make it into the top 100, which meant he would lose the chance to enter the Xuanji sect. If he lost this opportunity, he would never have a good day in the Nye clan again. Although his father doted on him, the Nye clan did not solely belong to Nye Ming. Haha, seeing his state, Duong Loi let out a laugh. Weren't you quite tough just now? Didn't you want to kill me? Didn't you want these two beautiful girls? How come you've turned into such a pathetic sight now? No more arrogance, no more wild boasts? Spare me. I am Nye Quan, the son of Prime Minister Nye Ming of the Great Yuan Kingdom. If you spare me, I will definitely give you many benefits, money, beautiful women, treasures, whatever you desire, I can provide it. Knowing his dire situation, Nye Quan looked at Duong Loi and pleaded for mercy. However, though Nye Quan outwardly begged for mercy, his heart was filled with intense hatred. He secretly vowed that once he obtained the qualification to become a Xuanji sect disciple, he would surely make Duong Loi die without a burial place. That venomous gaze flashed and vanished, yet it couldn't escape Duong Loi's discerning eyes. Oh, so you're a rich second-generation official, impressive. But so what? Nye Ming? Am I supposed to be scared? Humph, a mere prime minister of a petty great Yuan kingdom. Why would I be afraid? What a joke, this is truly a huge joke. What exactly do you want? Nye Quan, seeing that he had announced his father's name and the other party clearly didn't give a single thought to it, felt extreme rage in his heart. If he weren't no match for Duong Loi, he would have already minced Duong Loi into 10,000 pieces. Kill, show no mercy. To those who provoke me, who seek to bring about my death, I have never once spared them. Duong Loi said coldly. You dare kill me? After I leave this place, I will definitely not let you off. Seeing Duong Loi speak thus, and observing the glint in his eyes, Nye Quan knew Duong Loi wouldn't spare him this time. So he unleashed a furious threat. Duong Loi let out a cold laugh. I'm afraid you won't get that chance. Do you truly believe I would leave trouble for myself? With that, Duong Loi swung his long saber. Its speed was extreme, and a head tumbled to the ground. The ones I kill will not be revived. At this moment, the system's notification also chimed. Ding. Congratulations to player for slaying Martial King 5th stage Nye Quan. EXP plus 500,000, Qigong value plus 5,000, accumulated points plus 5,000. Nothing. What a pauper, calling himself the son of a prime minister. Not a single item dropped. Duong Loi couldn't help but mutter to himself. You really shouldn't kill people in such a sickening way. Look, Sister Qing Shui has been scared by you. Ko Tin said, dissatisfied. Duong Loi's methods were too bloody. Hearing this, Duong Loi looked over. Both women's faces were a little pale. Only then did he notice that his actions truly had been a bit too gory. He gave an awkward laugh and said, it won't be like this next time. Let's go now. Equals 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 Chapter 178. Azure Lotus Sword Art. At this moment, Yang Lei's expression changed dramatically. This is bad. The scent of fresh blood. The ancient mammoth has been drawn here by the smell. Go, quick. These mammoths were no ordinary elephants. The ancient mammoth was an omnivorous beast, consuming anything and everything, and the scent of blood easily drove them into a frenzy. Watching the mammoth charge towards them, Yang Lei hesitated for a moment, then unfurled his wings. Looking at the two women, he urged, come, I'll carry you. The two women understood the urgency and cast aside all reservations. Yang Lei grasped one woman with each hand, immediately soaring into the sky and flying swiftly into the distance. Half an hour later, Yang Lei finally landed. That half hour had been incredibly taxing. His cultivation realm was still insufficient. If he had reached the Martial Emperor realm, he wouldn't have had to expend so much effort. Help me guard, I need to recover for a bit, Yang Lei said, releasing the two women. Don't worry, just focus on recovering, Gu Jing replied. Yang Lei casually set up a simple illusion formation, then instructed the two women, remember, as long as the illusion formation isn't broken, don't pay attention to anything outside. And certainly, don't step outside the formation, or you won't be able to get back in. Rest assured, we understand. You should recover quickly, Gu Jing said. After giving clear instructions, Yang Lei sat down cross-legged, consumed 2 origin restoration pills, and began to restore his cultivation. Half an hour later, outside the illusion formation, 5 figures emerged from the forest. All 5 were Martial King realm cultivators. One had reached the great perfection of the Martial King realm, while among the other 4, 3 were at the 5th stage of Martial King and 1 at the 7th stage. Their clothing and ornaments were nearly identical, clearly indicating they belonged together, perhaps to the same clan. Oh, someone has actually set up an illusion formation here. The Martial King at the 7th stage saw through Yang Lei's formation. An illusion formation? It truly is an illusion formation. Gong Sun Ming, who would set up an illusion formation here? Break it, let's see who's inside. The leader commanded. Gong Sun Isho, it's better not to break this illusion formation. Someone capable of setting up such a formation surely has an extraordinary background. We shouldn't stir up trouble and just focus on finding spirit stones, Gong Sun Ming hesitated, shaking his head. If I tell you to break it, then break it. Why so much nonsense? Your father told you long ago to listen to my words and take me as your leader. Have you forgotten? Gong Sun Isho said with dissatisfaction. The other three also chimed in. Ming, Big Brother Isho said to break this formation, so just break it. That's right, Brother Ming, it's just a formation, break it. Seeing everyone's insistence, Gong Sun Ming reluctantly agreed, alright then, but once the illusion formation is broken, you absolutely must not be too rude. Though he said this aloud, he knew clearly in his heart that forcibly breaking someone else's illusion formation was already the greatest rudeness. What further complications might arise from this, he had no idea. Inside the illusion formation, Gu Jing was fuming. These arrogant fools dared to try and break the formation. If not for Yang Lei's earlier instructions, Gu Jing would have long since made a move and blasted them to smithereens. How infuriating. Truly infuriating. Gu Jing spat in anger. Sister Jing, don't be rash. Perhaps Brother Yang's illusion formation isn't so easily broken. We should just wait quietly. Yang Qingshui held Gu Jing back, saying. Despite the character for tranquil, Tin, in her name, Gu Jing's personality was anything but tranquil. Asterisk boom. Boom, asterisk Gong Sun Ming attempted several methods but found no way to dispel the illusion formation other than brute force. Thus, the 5 men each summoned their weapons and continuously bombarded the formation's core with their martial power. The cultivation of these 5 was not as powerful as Yang Bing's had been before, but with Gong Sun Ming's skill in finding the formation's core, attacking the core to break the illusion formation was far easier than Yang Bing's previous attempts. At this moment, Gu Jing and Yang Qingshui, inside the formation, blanched. The formation wouldn't hold much longer, at most, it would be broken in another minute. Yet, Yang Lei was still cultivating, showing no signs of waking. Gu Jing and Yang Qingshui grew anxious. If Yang Lei were to be disturbed during such a crucial moment of cultivation, it would be extremely troublesome, perhaps even leading to qi deviation. Bang, 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 with 3 faint sounds, the formation was shattered. Who are you people? How dare you break our illusion formation? The moment the formation was destroyed, Gu Jing bristled, her treasured sword already in hand. It's just 2 women. Seeing Gu Jing and Yang Qingshui, Gong Sun Isho was slightly taken aback, then he laughed, saying, hand over all your spirit stones. What audacity! Gu Jing sneered coldly. Many have dared to speak to us like that, but none have come to a good end. I advise you to leave now. I can overlook your breaking the formation and your rude intrusion, otherwise, you will all die. What a grand boast, truly a grand boast. I'd like to see how you'll kill us. Hearing Gu Jing's words, Gong Sun Isho's expression changed. Not just him, but the 4 others, including Gong Sun Ming, also looked awkward. To be so disdained by a mere woman, how could they not be enraged? Seeing this, Gu Jing's eyes turned icy. So, you refuse to leave? Big Brother Isho, let me go and experience this young lady's abilities. Gong Sun Isho nodded, good, Isin, go and test this young lady's skills. Let's see if she's truly as formidable as she claims. Gong Sun Isin's cultivation was also quite decent, having reached the 5th stage of Martial King. Moreover, he wielded a peculiar weapon, a strange pair of scissors called the Giant Spirit Iron Scissors. These scissors were no ordinary artifact, they were a high-grade spirit artifact, capable of growing large or shrinking small, possessing immense power. Along their path, countless Martial King realm cultivators had perished beneath these scissors. So, you refuse to leave and are simply seeking death? Since you desire death, I shall send you on your way. Gu Jing instructed Yang Qingshui beside her to watch over Yang Lei and ensure he wasn't disturbed. Such bravado. The Giant Spirit Iron Scissors, a high-grade spirit artifact. You should be careful. Gong Sun Isin conjured his scissors. The weapon instantly grew in size. He gripped it tightly with both hands, the blade spreading open like the gaping maw of a giant crocodile, snapping towards Gu Jing. Such meager tricks dare to show themselves off. Equals 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 Chapter 179. 9 nines return to 1. 1. Gu Jing let out a cold snort, her longsword sweeping up. A profound sword intent unfolded from her hand, its sword chi striking towards Gong Sun Isin. Gong Sun Isin was greatly alarmed. This sword intent was relentless yet fiercely sharp, chilling him to the bone. This was not something he could withstand. He retracted his colossal spirit iron scythe, shielding his entire body, attempting to block the formidable sword intent. Humph, you think you can block my sword art? Die. Gu Jing let out a sharp cry. Green Lotus sword art. Gu Jing's longsword swept out, the sword momentum instantly shifting, manifesting countless green lotuses that flew towards Gong Sun. Not good. Gong Sun was aghast. This sword art possessed immense power, it was not something Gong Sun could withstand. Even he himself might not be able to take it head-on, with evasion being the only option, yet Gong Sun couldn't evade it at all. Explode. 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 Following Gu Jing's soft cry, the myriad lotuses instantly exploded, transforming into countless lotus seeds that leaped into his heart. And Gong Sun, the instant the lotus seeds entered his heart, stared with wide eyes, his heart shattered, truly dying with unseeing eyes. You actually killed him, you. Gong Sun said furiously. You clearly killed him. I'll make you die, I'll make you die. Gu Jing let out a cold snort, so what if I killed him? Humph, if you want to kill me for revenge, then it depends on whether you have the ability. Gu Jing finished speaking and immediately unleashed her Martial Emperor Realm aura. A Martial Emperor Realm. Another Martial Emperor Realm. This. How can this be? Gong Sun instantly knew things were bad. The opponent's cultivation was actually Martial Emperor Realm, no wonder she could kill Gong Sun so easily. Nothing is impossible, Yang Lei said as he walked out, looking at them with an imposing expression. Since you've broken my array, you must pay a heavy price for it. All of you must die. Upon hearing this, Gong Sun's heart immediately plunged into an icy abyss. Although this person's aura was only at the Martial King Great Perfection realm, it gave him an even more terrifying feeling, making him even more uneasy. This is a misunderstanding, just a misunderstanding. We were merely curious, Gong Sun hastily spoke up at this moment. Yang Lei let out a cold laugh, misunderstanding? Even if it were a misunderstanding, you still have to die. What's more, it's not a misunderstanding. If our cultivation wasn't pretty good, I'm afraid it wouldn't be as simple as a misunderstanding. I reckon we would have all been killed by you. Do you think I'm so easily deceived? Do you take me for a fool, to let you go with just one word of misunderstanding? You. How can you be so unreasonable? You've already killed Isin, what more do you want? Gong Sun was also slightly enraged. What do I want? To kill all of you. The wind-hidden saber was already in his hand. In truth, Yang Lei had long since regained his senses. The reason he hadn't made a move earlier was merely to temper the two women a bit. But now he was acting because he had sensed the aura of the mammoth. That creature was clearly heading this way again. Although the distance was still very far, he truly couldn't afford to waste any more time here. You. Humph, you want to kill us? It won't be that easy, even if there's a Martial Emperor realm expert among you. Gong Sun let out a cold snort, summoning his weapon, the three-pointed double-edged saber. As for this fellow, Yang Lei didn't even put him in his eyes. Just a mere Martial King Great Perfection, even a Martial Emperor Great Perfection wouldn't scare him in the slightest, much less just a Martial King realm. Instead, he spoke to Yang Qingshui and Gu Jing, each of you choose an opponent to practice against, especially Qingshui, this will benefit you most. The rest I will take care of. Only 4 people? That's not even enough for me to deal with, Gu Jing muttered. And Yang Qingshui had already chosen her opponent, a Martial King 5th stage expert. I choose him. Yang Lei looked at her and said, Qingshui, don't hold back. Kill him. Use all your strength, strive to kill him in the shortest time possible. I understand, big brother Yang, I will definitely not disappoint you. Yang Qingshui nodded very seriously. She had no good feelings towards these people. Having said that, she drew her sword and charged forward. The remaining 3 are all for me. You just watch over Sister Qingshui from the side, just don't let anything happen to her. Gu Jing saw Yang Qingshui choose her opponent, so her longsword left its sheath, and she charged towards the 3 individuals. Yang Lei saw this and shook his head, watching from the side. There was still some time, I'll give you 1 minute. If you still haven't resolved it, I will make a move. Our time is running out. Yang Qingshui was at the Martial King 4th stage, while her opponent's cultivation was Martial King 5th stage, there was still a definite disparity. However, Yang Qingshui's sword art was exquisite. Although she couldn't defeat her opponent quickly, she truly managed to steadily suppress him. As for Gu Jing's side, it was much more intense. The Green Lotus sword art was unleashed without reservation. This sword art possessed immense power, causing Yang Lei to feel a little astonished as he watched. His own saber art, when unleashed, absolutely couldn't reach such an exquisite realm. If he wanted to break this sword art, the only method was to rely on his abundant true qi and forcefully break it, otherwise, there was no other way. But Gong Sun Yishou and his companions clearly lacked that ability. To forcefully break the Green Lotus sword art, their cultivation would have to reach Martial Emperor 9th stage or higher. What surprised Yang Lei was that Gong Sun Ming actually had a trick up his sleeve, deploying a banner array. Although Yang Lei had never personally encountered the power of a banner array, he had personally witnessed the power of a talisman array. Relying on a talisman array, a Martial Emperor realm martial artist could even withstand a full power strike from a mid-stage martial saint, which showed how powerful that talisman array was. Thus, it seemed, the power of this banner array probably wouldn't be too different. Given this, Gu Jing's Green Lotus sword art probably wouldn't be able to do anything to the three of them. Metal, wood, water, fire, earth. The 5 elements at my command, protect my body. A golden radiance for metal, verdant green for wood, azure blue for water, fiery red for fire, and earthy yellow for earth, the invisible banner array formed a huge protective barrier, shielding the 3 within the array. Chapter 180 Ninefold Unity 2. Ko Tina's longsword unleashed streaks of sword light. The blooms of green lotuses struck the formation array, causing it to immediately tremble, yet the formation suffered not the slightest damage. A formation. This is clearly a 5 elements flag formation. I never expected you to possess such a thing. But to think that merely this would be enough to block my sword, that is truly naive. Ko Tin let out a cold snort. Her longsword swept up, and lotuses reappeared. From the previous 6, they transformed into 9. Though it seemed like only 3 additional lotuses, their power had increased by a full 2-fold. The lotus sword chi struck the 5 elements flag formation once more. The formation's protective barrier swayed a few times, but remained as steadfast as before, showing no signs of breaking. Haha. Come on then. Aren't you in the Martial Emperor realm? Aren't you incredibly formidable? Don't you want to kill us? Can you even break this formation? Song Tun Not Thursday laughed wildly from within the formation. Hearing this, Ko Tin flushed with shame, which quickly morphed into rage. Don't get cocky. Watch as I dismantle your turtle shell. Green Lotus sword art, ninefold unity. As soon as the words left her lips, the longsword in Ko Tina's hand immediately transformed into 9 blades. Each longsword, in turn, became a green lotus bloom. The 9 lotuses incessantly swirled, slowly converging. Immediately after, these 9 lotuses merged, forming one gigantic green lotus. Witnessing this gigantic green lotus, Song Tunmin's expression changed drastically. Dung Loi also widened his eyes in astonishment. The energy condensed within this massive green lotus was absolutely terrifying. It could definitely rival the full force strike of an early-stage martial sovereign, perhaps even a mid-stage martial sovereign. Immediately after, the gigantic green lotus slowly shrank, gradually solidifying. Though the green lotus had shrunk, the power it contained made one feel even more terrifyingly potent and immense. The condensation process of this green lotus was extremely fast, taking no more than a mere few seconds. Once complete, the delicate yet exquisite green lotus shot towards the formation array. This is bad. Song Tun Not Thursday, Song Tun Not Dao, channel your true qi into my body. I need to reinforce the formation, otherwise, we won't be able to withstand this strike. Song Tunmin roared. Seeing Song Tunmin speak thus, Song Tun Not Thursday also realized the gravity of the situation. If the formation were broken, it would absolutely mean certain death. The two hurriedly extended their palms, pressing them against Song Tunmin's back, channeling all their true qi into his body. Uniting the true qi of the 3 as one, they infused it into the formation, attempting to withstand this terrifying strike. Die. Die for me. As Ko Tin let out a soft cry, the green lotus slammed into the 5 elements flag formation, followed by an enormous roar. The colossal qi currents made even Dung Loi feel a hint of pressure. This strike, its power had absolutely reached the late-stage martial sovereign level. Could the five elements flag formation withstand it? Byung Loi was extremely expectant. At this moment, after Ko Tin unleashed this move, her entire body's true chi was almost completely drained, and her face appeared exceedingly pale. Seeing this, Byung Loi flickered to her side, supporting her waist, and then took out an origin recovery pill for her to consume. Ko Tin, recover well. Leave the rest to me. Meanwhile, on the other side, Dyung Ton Tui, at this very moment, unleashed a full power strike, slaying his opponent. He walked towards Byung Loi, and regarding Ko Tin's move, he felt endless shock. He hadn't expected Ko Tin to be so powerful. Secretly comparing himself, he felt he was still far too lacking. Ton Tui, watch over Ko Tin. I'll take care of those three. Byung Loi had long since discovered that Song Tun not Thursday and the other two were not dead yet. Although the formation was broken, the three of them were not injured, though their chi consumption was quite considerable. Understood. Don't worry. Dyung Ton Tui nodded lightly. Byung Loi turned, looking at the lingering mist, and said, show yourselves. Don't hide, I know you're not dead. The mist dispersed, and the three walked out. Humph, do you still think you can deal with us now? Your only martial emperor realm expert is injured. Surrender, and perhaps I can spare your lives, Song Tun not Thursday said with a laugh. Spare my life? Are you sure you want to spare my life? Byung Loi said with a cold laugh. It seems you still don't understand the situation clearly. Don't think that having a formation array makes you invincible under heaven. You are still far too lacking. Furthermore, your formation has already been broken. What other tricks do you have? Hurry up and show them. Byung Loi grasped his wind concealment blade, and slowly advanced, step by step. It seems you prefer the punitive drink to the welcoming wine. Go, not Dao, kill him for me. Song Tun not Thursday said. Kill. 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 Upon hearing this, Song Tun not Dao grabbed his blade and charged towards Byung Loi. Watching Song Tun not Dao charge, Byung Loi faintly curved his lips. Wind concealment blade, wind blade 7 kills, wind concealment kill. The long blade in his hand moved with a subtle tremor. Song Tun not Dao hadn't even had time to react before he was slain. The speed was so extreme, it was but the blink of an eye. Kill? Kill your head. Such paltry tricks are merely an embarrassment. You. This. How is this possible? Song Tun not Thursday almost couldn't believe his own eyes. Come together, then. Byung Loi gave them no further chance. His flying daggers shot out. Literally flying dagger. A white flash, and 2 flying daggers embedded themselves in the necks of the 2 men. Ah. You. Even in death, the 2 men had not seen clearly how the flying daggers had appeared. I gave you a chance, Byung Loi said, then turned around. At this moment, the system's notification sound came. Ding. Congratulations, player, for slaying 5th stage Martial King Song Tun not Dao. EXP plus 200,000, Chi cultivation value plus 2,000, accumulation points plus 2,000. Ding. Congratulations, player, for obtaining 10,000 spirit stones. Ding. Congratulations, player, for slaying 7th stage Martial King Song Tun Min. EXP plus 350,000, Chi cultivation value plus 3,500, accumulation points plus 3,500. Ding. Congratulations, player, for obtaining 12,000 spirit stones. Ding. Congratulations, player, for slaying Grand Perfection Martial King Song Tun not Thursday. EXP plus 500,000, Chi cultivation value plus 5,000, accumulation points plus 5,000. Ding. Congratulations, player, for obtaining 18,000 spirit stones. Ding. Congratulations, player, for obtaining a set of 5 elements flag formation. At this time, Byung Loi had not truly slain them, merely dispatching them within the immortal chi. They could still revive, which was why he only received half the experience points. However, what surprised Byung Loi was that this time, he had actually caused the 5 elements flag formation to drop. This was a 5 elements flag formation, boundless in power. Endowed with the Martial King realm cultivation of those 3 fellows, it had actually blocked Ko Tin's ultimate move, Ninefold Unity. This was truly extraordinary. equals 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 chapter 181. The 5 elements banner formation in hand. Examining its attributes. The 5 elements banner formation, formed by the 5 elements banners into a 5 elements array, boasts peerless defense. The higher the cultivation of its wielder, the stronger its defensive power, capable of blocking a full force attack from someone 2 major cultivation realms higher than the wielder. Formidable, truly formidable. Although it can't compare to the talisman formation auctioned by the Evergreen Wind Merchant Association earlier, it's certainly no less impressive, and arguably even more practical. However, it does have drawbacks. Once deployed, this banner formation is difficult to move, and its energy consumption is extremely high. Roar. 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 Thump. 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 This is bad. Yang Lei's expression changed. That behemoth was here. He had to leave, immediately. There was no chance of winning against that monstrous creature. He hadn't expected the creature to arrive so quickly. What's that sound? Gu Jing, having recovered, couldn't help but blanch when she heard the furious roars. Could it be? Yes, we're out of time. We must leave quickly, or things will get troublesome. Yang Lei urged. The 2 women. I didn't expect that behemoth to arrive so fast. Half an hour later, Yang Lei and the 2 women finally breathed a sigh of relief. The colossal creature hadn't pursued them. This was the 10th day of the 2nd selection round, and also the final day. Previously, Yang Lei's group had encountered several other parties attempting to rob them, but Yang Lei had easily dealt with them all. The trio spirit stones had reached an astonishing amount. Yang Lei possessed 350,000 spirit stones, Gu Jing had 280,000, and Yang Qingshui had 260,000. Their accumulated points firmly placed them in the top 3 ranks. On this day, the 3 arrived by the side of a lake. Oh, this is a bloodthirsty poison vine. No, someone is entangled with that bloodthirsty poison vine. Talismans, what powerful talismans! It's the 9 heavens falling thunder talisman. Yang Lei couldn't help but gasp in shock. This 9 heavens falling thunder talisman was no ordinary talisman, it was a genuine earth-tier talisman, possessing immense power. It's Gu Xian. It's Gu Xian again. Yang Lei was taken aback. He hadn't expected to encounter her here, nor did he know why she was entangled with that bloodthirsty poison vine. Gu Xian's expression was grave. Although she possessed the 9 heavens falling thunder talisman, it was immensely draining. With her cultivation, she could barely unleash a few of them, any more would certainly exhaust her. And that bloodthirsty poison vine was clearly no ordinary specimen. It was a bloodthirsty poison vine king, a creature that had cultivated a spirit, belonging to the peak of an 8th-tier demonic beast. If it were to advance one more step and become a 9th-tier bloodthirsty poison vine emperor, its power would be immeasurable. Within several miles around, everything would fall within its attack range. Moreover, a 9th-tier bloodthirsty poison vine emperor could move freely, making it even more terrifying. Once ensnared by it, one would face certain death unless they were a martial saint of great perfection. Even martial saints of great perfection wouldn't dare to easily provoke it. Thus, the terror of this bloodthirsty poison vine was evident. However, for this bloodthirsty poison vine king to advance and become a 9th-tier bloodthirsty poison vine emperor, that was an immense challenge. Should he save her or not? Yang Lei pondered. This Gu Xian was the granddaughter of Talisman King Gu Wanyue and a cousin of Yang Tianlong. That made her, by extension, a potential enemy. Little Lei, let's go help this younger sister, Gu Jing spoke up then. Yang Lei looked at Gu Jing in surprise. Gu Xian was using a disguise, and he hadn't expected Gu Jing to see through it so clearly. This truly astonished him. She's a girl? Yang Qingshui asked, looking at Gu Xian in astonishment. Jing lass, how did you see that? I thought you were rather taken with his pretty boy looks. Yang Lei said with a chuckle. Don't call me Jing lass. Gu Jing glared. Naturally. I've studied the great bright eye art. Aside from a freak like you, whose cultivation I can't discern, I can see through anyone whose cultivation is similar to or lower than mine. The great bright eye art? What kind of cultivation method is that? Yang Lei was stunned. This was truly the first time he'd heard of such a skill. If not for his true eagle eye and appraisal art, he wouldn't have been able to see through it. He hadn't expected the great bright eye art to achieve similar results, albeit through different means. Thankfully, she couldn't see through him, or that would indeed be troublesome. The great bright eye art is a peculiar cultivation method. It's said that cultivating it to its pinnacle can evolve into the heavenly eye, allowing one to see through all things in the world. It's a family heirloom from my mother. If you want to learn it, you'd teach me? No. Gu Jing was initially about to agree, but then suddenly remembered something, her face flushed, and she shook her head in refusal. If not, then not. Why? Such a reaction? Yang Lei muttered to himself. The heavenly eye, he felt a flicker of envy, but cultivating it to its pinnacle was easier said than done. That elder sister is about to give out. Are we going to save her or not? Yang Qingshui called out. Save her, then. Let's save her. Yang Lei saw that Gu Ziyan was already in an extremely perilous state, unable to hold on much longer. You two wait here. I'll go save her. Having decided to save her, Yang Lei didn't overthink it. Besides, she might not even know he was the one who killed Yang Tianlong. Moreover, Yang Lei observed that the girl didn't seem like the type to forget kindness and repay grievances with enmity, she was just a bit cold. Then be careful. The two women said with concern. Yang Lei nodded slightly. Don't worry. If I didn't have a plan, I wouldn't act. Just wait here, and I'll bring that girl back. With that, Yang Lei unfurled his wings and flew towards Gu Ziyan. The bloodthirsty poison vine saw Yang Lei approach and launched countless thorny vines to attack and obstruct him. These long, thorny branches were covered in potent venom. Yang Lei's wind concealment blade ceaselessly chopped, severing the vines that blocked his path. Come on, let's go. Yang Lei said, sweeping an arm around her waist. Gu Ziyan glanced at Yang Lei but didn't refuse. At this point, she was utterly exhausted, like a lamp running out of oil, and couldn't hold on for much longer. To refuse would be to seek death, and no one wished to die. So, Gu Ziyan nodded slightly, indicating her agreement. But how could the bloodthirsty poison vine allow them to leave so easily? With fatty meat almost in its mouth, how could it simply let go? Thus, it launched a frenzied assault, a vine whipping madly towards Yang Lei and Gu Ziyan. Chapter 182, The Bloodlust Poison Vine. Damn it. Yang Lei hadn't expected this bloodlust poison vine to be so utterly troublesome. Hold me tight, he instructed Gu Ziyan. Yang Lei released his hold on her, drawing his wind concealment blade and brandishing it. Wind blade 7 kills, 3 kills combined. Cleave. This blade strike conjured swirling arcs of fiery light, crashing towards the poison vine. Any tendrils caught in its path immediately recoiled. Fire was the bane of poison vines, and only potent flames could truly contend with this bloodlust poison vine. However, the vine before him was not so easily dealt with. Yang Lei had never cultivated any fire element cultivation techniques, so even the fiery wind kill of the wind blade 7 kills could not fundamentally harm it. Having driven back the entangling bloodlust poison vine, Yang Lei immediately accelerated, moving to the side of the two women and setting Gu Ziyan down. At this moment, the bloodlust poison vine unexpectedly erupted with several enormous roots from beneath the ground, attempting to encircle and ensnare all 4 of them. The two women drew their swords, severing several slender roots. Yang Lei, ever the most formidable, unleashed a surge of blade chi that instantly sliced through several thick roots. You two, retreat with her for now. I'll deal with this poison vine. Then be careful. They were now acutely aware of the bloodlust poison vine's power. They knew they were no match for it, nor could they offer Yang Lei any help. At this point, their only option was to leave, as staying here would only become a burden to him. Great Strength Vajra Pellet. Yang Lei immediately consumed a Great Strength Vajra Pellet. He hadn't used this particular pellet before. The moment he ingested the elixir, his strength instantly surged 20-fold, and his output power increased dramatically. Windblade 7 kills, 5 kills combined. Arcs of blade chi swirled forth, reducing countless tendrils to ash. The bloodlust poison vine king was enraged. Having so many tendrils annihilated consumed an immense amount of its vital energy. How could it not be furious? This colossal consumption was comparable to several years' worth of absorbed spiritual energy. One must understand that it was currently at a crucial juncture. If this continued, who knew when it would finally advance? Hence its fury. Only by absorbing the blood and vital essence of Yang Lei and the other three could it hope to quickly advance and become a 9th-level bloodlust poison vine. In its rage, the bloodlust poison vine produced even more tendrils, coiling and lashing wildly towards Yang Lei, dense and intricate, like numerous intertwined pythons, and incredibly agile. Terrifying, utterly terrifying. Should any of those tendrils strike him, and their poisonous thorns pierce his body, then the toxins would undoubtedly flood his system, leading to immense trouble. Thus, Yang Lei absolutely refused to meet it head-on. Even though he had cultivated Iron Cloth Shirt, Volume 2, he still dared not confront it directly. Seeking death. I originally didn't wish to entangle myself with you, but since you don't know what's good for you, then today, I shall put an end to you. Yang Lei's expression turned cold. This bloodlust poison vine king was an 8th-level demonic beast, possessing immense power and proving incredibly difficult to kill. If he wished to deal with it, he would need to cultivate a fire element divine ability and possess potent true fire. Otherwise, with his current abilities, he absolutely couldn't hope to defeat it. Fire Dragon Talisman. Yang Lei crushed a talisman. While this fire dragon talisman possessed great power, it merely generated ordinary flames, not true fire. Only genuine true fire was the bane of poison vines. These ordinary flames could, at best, only hold it off for a moment. Moreover, the bloodlust poison vine's body was immense, containing a vast amount of energy. It wouldn't be easily burned to death, even with true fire, it would still require a significant amount of time. Therefore, if Yang Lei wished to slay this bloodlust poison vine, the only way was to reach the battle prowess of a martial saint. To achieve such battle prowess, Yang Lei had two methods. One was to use a true spirit talisman, and the other was to unleash his ultimate skill, the Heavenly Blade, First Form. The Heavenly Blade, First Form, possessed unparalleled might, capable of instantly increasing his battle prowess by 64 times, 8 times 8. Furthermore, having consumed the great strength Vajra pellet, his power could reach 1,280 times his original cultivation battle prowess, which would be sufficient to kill a martial saint. Slaying this 8th-level bloodlust poison vine would naturally be no laughing matter. Heavenly Blade, First Form. Die. As Yang Lei roared, all the true chi in his body was completely channeled into his blade. The wind concealment blade glowed with dazzling brilliance, forming a colossal blade edge that mercilessly cleaved towards the bloodlust poison vine with incredible speed and incomparably formidable power. The bloodlust poison vine's tendrils instantly turned to ash upon contact. Such a terrifying and potent strike left the bloodlust poison vine no time for regret. Retreat? It couldn't retreat. Its main body was here, its roots firmly planted. It simply had no way to evade, no path of retreat. It had only recently reached the 8th level and was immobile. Thus, facing Yang Lei's overwhelming power, a move capable of destroying heaven and earth, it could only meet it head-on. Countless tendrils were destroyed, only for countless more to instantly sprout, larger and thicker than before. Immediately after, these numerous colossal tendrils coiled together, forming an even larger, purple whip-like entity. Within it surged immense, boundless energy, which then lashed out a surge of blade chi to meet Yang Lei's attack. Gazing at this enormous tendril, Yang Lei couldn't help but sneer. This bloodlust poison vine had not yet evolved into a 9th-level demonic beast, how could it possibly withstand such a terrifying blow? Even a true 9th-level saint beast might not necessarily be able to endure it head-on, let alone something that hadn't even reached that realm. Thus, the blade chi Yang Lei unleashed was like slicing melons and dicing vegetables, effortlessly shattering the colossal poison vine into fragments, which then dissolved into dust. However, this terrifying, substantial blade chi did not stop there, instead continuing directly towards the bloodlust poison vine's true main body. Boom! 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 After a series of thunderous explosions, the area where the bloodlust poison vine had been was a scene of utter devastation. The poison vine itself had been pulverized into a shattered mess, oozing green liquid, presenting a truly gruesome sight. Ding! Congratulations to player for slaying the 8th-level bloodlust poison vine. Experience points, EXP, plus 9 million. Chi cultivation value plus 90,000. Accumulation points plus 90,000. Ding! Congratulations to player for obtaining one 8th-level wood element demonic core. Ding. Congratulations to player for obtaining one 10,000-year poison vine. Ding. Congratulations to player. Your wind concealment blade's rank has increased, becoming a high-grade spirit artifact. Although the loot dropped from slaying this bloodlust poison vine didn't completely satisfy Yang Lei, the fact that his wind concealment blade had leveled up brought him immense joy. Wind concealment blade ** high-grade spirit artifact. Attack speed increased by 25%, strength increased by 30%. 0.5% chance to trigger one-hit kill. Equals Chapter 183, Sowing Divine Sense. 1. However, raising the grade of this wind-hidden saber was truly no easy feat. He didn't know how many demonic beasts he had slain with this wind-hidden saber, and only now had it entered the realm of high-grade spirit artifacts. Reaching the immortal artifact level? Who knew how many years or months that would take? Still, he already possessed an immortal artifact, this exquisite immortal pagoda. Yet, despite having obtained the pagoda pearl and becoming its true master, he couldn't use this immortal artifact. Unable to wield it in battle, this was the most vexing matter. Furthermore, that 10,000-year-old poison vine truly provided an excellent material for artifact refining. Didn't Xianlan want a long whip? This vine branch would be perfect. If refined, its power would certainly be formidable, and its grade would definitely enter the spirit artifact realm, possibly even reaching high-grade spirit artifacts. But now was not the time to ponder this. Although his artifact refining skill had broken through, refining an actual spirit artifact was no simple task. At this moment, the effects of the great strength Vajra pill had begun to fade. Coupled with his earlier use of the Heaven's Blade first form, Yang Lei felt profoundly weary and weak. At this point, even a martial master could defeat him. Therefore, Yang Lei immediately consumed 3 Qi recovery pills to restore his true Qi and replenish his depleted energy. Just then, Gu Jing rushed back. Seeing Yang Lei's exhausted state, she hastily asked, "Are you all right?" Yang Lei shook his head, "I'm fine." "Why did you come back?" "I was worried something might happen to you, so I came to help." "Where is that bloodthirsty poison vine?" "I've already killed it, no need to worry." As they spoke, Yang Lei's cultivation had already recovered by almost half. Yang Lei had previously scouted the area and knew there were no other powerful demonic beasts nearby. After all, this was the bloodthirsty poison vine's territory. Thus, Yang Lei wasn't worried. "Truly killed? You're not lying to me, are you?" Gu Jing still found it hard to believe. That bloodthirsty poison vine was an 8th-grade demonic beast, immensely powerful. Unless one possessed true fire or more formidable flames, only a martial Saint Realm expert could possibly contend with it. Did you use a true spirit talisman?" "No, the true spirit talisman is still here." Seeing her disbelief, Yang Lei took out the true spirit talisman to show her. "You really did kill that bloodthirsty poison vine. Amazing, truly amazing." At this moment, Gu Jing was genuinely astonished. Even if she unleashed her most powerful move, she wouldn't be able to handle that bloodthirsty poison vine. Yet, Yang Lei had clearly dealt with it today. How could she not be shocked? This also meant that she had likely truly lost this time, without any chance left. Although she had previously considered herself defeated, at that time, it wasn't so absolute. After all, she still had a chance to win if she used her strongest sword technique. "I had this." Fearing to discourage her, Yang Lei smiled and produced a pill, precisely the Great Strength Vajra pill. "This pill can boost one's battle power 20-fold, which is how I was able to handle that bloodthirsty poison vine." "Boost battle power 20-fold? You must be joking, right? You actually consumed such a pill?" Hearing Yang Lei's words, Gu Jing became somewhat angry. Although Yang Lei sensed a hint of reproach in Gu Jing's tone, he still nodded. "Of course. Otherwise, did you think I could easily annihilate the bloodthirsty poison vine like that? How could you be so foolish? These pills all have side effects. Are you all right now?" Seeing Gu Jing angry, yet also a little worried, Yang Lei felt warmth in his heart. She genuinely cared about him. So he nodded and said, "It's nothing. I'm fine, don't worry. This isn't an ordinary pill, it has no side effects. This is a temperfection pill." "A temperfection pill?" "This Is this truly a temperfection pill? You're not deceiving me, are you? Where did you get a temperfection pill? That's no ordinary elixir. Even my grandfather doesn't possess a temperfection pill. How could you have one? Don't lie to me. Gu Jing couldn't believe it. A temperfection pill was far from ordinary. On the entire Chongwu continent, there might not even be anyone capable of refining a temperfection pill. If you don't believe me, see for yourself. This is absolutely a temperfection pill. I wouldn't lie to you. What meaning would lying to you even have? Yang Lei finished speaking and handed the pill in his hand to Gu Jing. This is truly a temperfection pill. Gu Jing was utterly astonished. What Yang Lei said was actually true. Of course. This temperfection pill is truly a treasure. Without this temperfection great strength Vajra pill, I definitely wouldn't have been able to handle that bloodthirsty poison vine. Now do you believe me? Yang Lei said. I believe you now. This. Xiao Lei, this. Do you have any more of these temperfection pills? Gu Jing bit her lower lip, looking at Yang Lei as she spoke. Could you give me one? I'll trade equipment for it, even a supreme-grade spirit artifact would be fine. This. No? Right, what kind of pill is a temperfection pill? I was being unreasonable. The disappointment in Gu Jing's eyes was self-evident. Gu Jing naturally understood how precious a temperfection pill was. It wasn't just how precious this particular great strength Vajra pill was, even if it was extremely precious, it was merely a pill that temporarily boosted cultivation. Other pills could achieve similar effects. But what made it truly invaluable was that it was a temperfection pill. If she could obtain such a temperfection pill, it would be of immense help to her grandfather, possibly allowing him to comprehend the martial god barrier and take that final step. Hearing this, Yang Lei hastily said, That's not what I meant. It's just a pill, not some overly precious elixir. If you want it, I'll just give it to you directly. No need to be so polite. As for supreme-grade spirit artifact or any talk of trade, don't mention it. If you insist on exchanging something, I won't give it to you. Xiao Lei, you're serious? You're truly willing to give me a temperfection pill? Gu Jing looked at Yang Lei excitedly. It's just a pill, no need to get so agitated. I actually have quite a few of these temperfection pills, though their grades aren't particularly high. Yellow grade and profound grade are not uncommon. Although Yang Lei knew he could refine temperfection pills, there was no need for such astonishment. It seemed he had given quite a few to the Long-Wind Merchant Guild, hadn't they taken them out to sell? This is a temperfection pill. Moreover, it's an Earth-grade temperfection pill. Don't you know how precious this is? Even martial god grand completion experts and major sects would covet such a thing. How can I not be excited? Gu Jing said. Equals 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 Chapter 184, Planting a Divine Consciousness. 2. Lei, are you truly willing to give me this perfected pill? This single pill, in an exchange for a supreme-grade spirit artifact, many would absolutely agree, perhaps even for a higher price. Is one enough? If not, I can give you a few more. Dung Loi said. He had refined quite a few of these great strength Vajra pills, and had only used one so far. That's plenty, one is quite enough. Ko Tin hastily replied. But Dung Loi merely chuckled, took out a porcelain bottle, and tossed it to Ko Tin. Ko Tin, these few pills are for you. Take them if you need them, I still have more. This is too precious. I only want one, just for grandfather. I don't need any of the rest. Ko Tin hastily shook her head, handing the porcelain bottle back to Dung Loi. Take them. If they're for Elder Gu, then you should especially take them. Elder Gu gave me a true spirit talisman, what are a few pills compared to that? If you don't take them, then never see me again. From now on, we'll be strangers. Dung Loi threatened. Alright, I'll take them. Hearing Dung Loi's threat, Ko Tin's heart was, however, filled with immense joy. Moreover, that single sentence planted a seed deep within her heart. Let's go. If we stay too long, Tantui will worry. Dung Loi only spoke up after seeing Ko Tin accept the pills. Ko Tin lightly nodded. the two walked forward. So you're Ko Tu-yen, huh? Quite formidable. Dung Loi said with a smile, looking at Ko Tu-yen. Thank you for saving me. I will repay this debt of gratitude. Ko Tu-yen said coldly. Seeing Ko Tu-yen's cold tone, Dung Loi was momentarily stunned, then chuckled and said, It's nothing, just a casual favor. What debt of gratitude? Don't be so formal. He said this outwardly, but inwardly, he thought, if you knew that I was the one who killed your cousin, Dung Thian-long, you probably wouldn't be speaking like this. No, I owe you a debt of gratitude, and I will certainly repay it. However, there are still grievances between us. Ko Tu-yen's eyes fixed on Dung Loi as she spoke. You killed my cousin, Dung Thian-long. You and I must clash. Before that, I will definitely repay your debt of gratitude. I, Ko Tu-yen, have always been clear about debts and grievances. Dung Loi was astonished to hear this. Ko Tu-yen clearly knew that he had killed her cousin, Dung Thian-long. This also meant that the Talisman King, Ko Van Noyet, had long since known the cause of his maternal grandson's death. But what was strange was, why hadn't Ko Van Noyet come directly to seek revenge? Wasn't Dung Thian-long his most favored maternal grandson? How are you so certain that I killed Dung Thian-long? Asterisk, how did she know the truth? Without direct evidence, her tone wouldn't be so certain. Perhaps it was merely a suspicion, which was why Ko Van Noyet hadn't acted yet. After all, the Dung clan was still much more powerful than his. Ko Van Noyet couldn't act rashly before fully understanding the situation. Dung Loi was a once-in-a-millennium genius of the Dung clan, how could they not protect him? Asterisk, Dung Loi's thoughts weren't entirely wrong, but neither were they entirely correct. Ko Van Noyet indeed knew that Dung Loi was the one who killed his maternal grandson. However, the other half of Dung Loi's guess was also correct. Ko Van Noyet wouldn't fall out with the Dung clan over Dung Thian-long. After all, the Dung clan's strength was not something the Ko clan could contend with. Though he greatly favored Dung Thian-long, he couldn't possibly let the entire Ko clan suffer for Dung Thian-long's sake. My grandfather planted a wisp of divine consciousness on Dung Thian-long. As long as one's cultivation isn't higher than my grandfather's, it's absolutely impossible to detect. That's how we knew from the very beginning that you were the one who killed Dung Thian-long. Ko Tu-yen said. To plant a wisp of divine consciousness, truly formidable. Such a secret art could only be cast upon one's most intimate kin. From this, it was clear that Ko Van Noyet truly doted on Dung Thian-long to an extreme degree. Even Ko Tu-yen hadn't received such treatment. Since Ko Tu-yen had already stated it, Dung Loi didn't deny it. Indeed, I beat Dung Thian-long to death. Who told him to be so deserving of death? He actually harbored ill intentions towards my second sister and was thoroughly defeated by me during the clan trial. If you wish to avenge him, there's no need to consider any debt of gratitude. You can seek your revenge against me now. Dung Loi had no worries about Ko Tu-yen. Although her cultivation had reached the 4th stage of martial emperor, and she might even possess high-grade talismans, Dung Loi wasn't afraid in the slightest. You needn't worry. I will indeed cross paths with you, but not here. I said I would repay your debt of gratitude, and I will. Furthermore, I didn't even like Dung Thian-long. If not for my grandfather's words, I wouldn't have cared whether he lived or died. Ko Tu-yen's words surprised Dung Loi somewhat. If she didn't want to fight him, why insist on crossing paths? Wasn't that just asking for trouble? However, these words also implied that their clash wouldn't be a fight to the death, which would save him a good deal of trouble. 10 days passed in a flash. At this moment, Elder Channy immediately channeled his immortal chi. Dung Loi and the others only felt a dizzying sway before their bodies instantly vanished from their original spots, reappearing at the starting point. 10 days have passed. I trust everyone is now clear about their standing. Those who haven't made it into the top 100 will be sent out of this place. I was just a little short. Just a bit more and I could have entered the top 100. I refuse to accept this. I refuse to accept this, a male disciple cried out. Yes. I don't accept it either. I was only short by a few spirit stones. Just a few spirit stones. Give me a little more time, and I definitely could have surpassed it. I definitely could have. I don't accept this. As this man spoke, he immediately stirred up the emotions of a group of people, who also began to clamor loudly, expressing their internal dissatisfaction. What's all this commotion? Are you seeking death? This is absolutely fair. Even if it's luck, luck is also a form of strength. Since you haven't met the requirements, then wait for the next time. Now, I'm sending you all out. If anyone causes any more ruckus, they will be killed without mercy. Elder Channy roared in fury. This time, everyone immediately fell silent. Elder Channy waved his hand, sending all those who hadn't made it into the top 100 out of the area. Chapter 185. The second selection concludes. For you to reach the top 100, it proves you undeniably possess strength. Especially the top 3, first place Duong Loi, who obtained 350,000 spirit stones, second place Ko Tin, with 300,000 spirit stones, and third place Duong Ton Tui, with 280,000 spirit stones. These 3 far surpassed the 4th-ranked individual. How? Can this be? How is this possible? It must be cheating. They must have cheated. I struggled so much to get just over 30,000 spirit stones, yet they have 300,000? Impossible. At this, everyone erupted in an uproar. 300,000. The difference between the top 3 and the 4th-ranked person was over 100,000, far too vast. That's right. Cheating. It has to be cheating. One person spoke up, and instantly, the protests escalated. Silence. All of you, quiet down. Do you perhaps think I am unfair? Tien not raged. He was well aware of the identities of Duong Loi and Ko Tin, and moreover, they had absolutely not cheated, their results were undeniably genuine. Furthermore, such uproar from the crowd was a challenge to his dignity, the dignity of a martial god was not to be provoked. Seeing Elder Tien Not's fury, the clamoring scene instantly fell silent. If anyone else dares to voice their suspicion, then they need not participate in the next round of selection. They will be immediately eliminated, and furthermore, will never again be permitted to attend the Fongvan selection. Our Xuanji sect has no need for such individuals. Tien Not's eyes swept over everyone as he spoke. At this, not a single person dared to utter another word. This was no joke, being directly eliminated and subsequently losing the qualification to enter the Xuanji sect forever? Who would willingly accept such punishment? None, not a single one. Silence. Finally, silence. No one dared to speak further. Good. Now, is there anyone who still doubts my words? We wouldn't dare. That's good. Due to the exceptional performance of Duong Loi, Ko Tin, and Duong Ton Tui, they will directly advance into the top 10 of this selection. In other words, these 3 will directly compete in the top 10 ranking tournament. As for the others, they will contend for the remaining 27 spots. Among these 27, the top 7 will also enter the top 10 ranking tournament. The top 10 individuals will gain the qualification to become inner disciples, while the remaining 20 will become outer disciples. Tien Not gazed at the crowd as he spoke. These words meant that Duong Loi, Duong Ton Tui, and Ko Tin wouldn't even need to participate in the 3rd round, they could directly become inner disciples of the Xuanji sect. This left Duong Loi utterly astonished. Of course, the most astonished was still Duong Ton Tui. She had never, not even in her wildest dreams, imagined she could directly become an inner disciple of the Xuanji sect. However, Ko Tin remained utterly calm. She knew very well that even if she hadn't earned a single spirit stone, Elder Tien Not wouldn't dare exclude her. Very well, you now have 10 days. In 10 days, the final martial competition will take place right here. After speaking, Elder Tien Not waved his hand. Everyone, except Duong Loi, Ko Tin, and Duong Ton Tui, was transported out of the space. The 3 of them now found themselves in a quaint, elegant ancient-style room. Elder Tien Not, may I ask why you've kept the 3 of us behind? Duong Loi knew that being kept behind likely meant Tien Not had something specific to say, most probably concerning Ko Tin, though it was also possible it related to his opportunistic master, Truong Dat. Sit. Don't be constrained. Rest assured, I mean you no harm, Elder Tien Not said with a smile. Elder Tien, Ko Tin interjected. Elder Tien, if there's a reason you've kept us behind alone this time, please just say it directly. There's no need for circumlocution. Young Lady Tin, how is Elder Ko? He must have come as well, I presume? Elder Tien Not said with a smile. He did come, but I have no idea where he's off drinking now, Ko Tin said, curling her lip. Elder Tien, did you only keep us here to ask about such matters? If there's nothing else, then we shall take our leave first. I still have something to discuss with my grandfather. Ko Tin harbored considerable dissatisfaction towards Elder Tien Not. Previously, the venomous blood-sucking bat incident had left her deeply unsettled. She had nearly been killed and was terrified to her core. Seeing Elder Tien Not now immediately rekindled her anger. Tien Not saw Ko Tin's demeanor and knew she was upset. He also recalled the incident with the venomous blood-sucking bat. Indeed, it had been far too dangerous. Young Lady Tin, please don't be angry. I know you were greatly frightened, which is why I'm now here to apologize, isn't that right? Tien Not said with a smile. Humph. So, what benefits do you have for me? Ko Tin asked, looking at him. Meanwhile, Duong Ton Tui felt a slight sense of trepidation. What exactly was young Lady Tin's status, to dare speak to Elder Tien Not in such a manner? And Elder Tien Not even seemed to curry favor with her. Duong Ton Tui mused that her own direct advancement into the top 10 this time must have been a benefit gained through young Lady Tin. Here are 30 low-grade spirit stones. I trust this will satisfy you? Tien Not waved his hand, and a pile of spirit stones flew from his sleeve, landing on the table. There were exactly 30 of them. 30 stones? But what about little brother Loi and little sister Tui? Ko Tin said, dissatisfied. Elder Tien Not couldn't help but tremble upon hearing this. These spirit stones were not easily acquired. Even though they were only low-grade, these 30 spirit stones represented half a year's expenditure for him. To take out another 60 spirit stones would naturally be incredibly painful, yet seeing Ko Tin's expression, Tien Not still nodded. He waved his hand again, and 60 more low-grade spirit stones appeared before them. Young Lady Tin, are you satisfied now? Only then did Ko Tin smile and say, thank you, Uncle Tien Not. That single address of uncle brought a satisfied smile to Tien Not's face. 90 low-grade spirit stones for this uncle was an extremely worthwhile exchange. One must understand, Ko Tin's standing within the Xuanji sect was not something to be casually compared. Since you've called me uncle, there's no need for such politeness. Uncle Tien Not, is there anything else? If not, I'll take my leave first. I still need to go find my grandfather. Ko Tin said. No rush, wait a moment. I have a few things to discuss with Duong Loi. You and Duong Ton Tui can wait a bit, it will be over quickly and won't delay you too much, Elder Tien Not said. Ko Tin paused, unsure why Elder Tien Not wanted to speak with Duong Loi. However, she wasn't truly worried that he would cause Duong Loi any harm, so she nodded lightly. Equals 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 Chapter 186, The Karmic Affinity Stone. Good then, Uncle Tien Not, please don't make things difficult for Brother Shaolei. My grandfather thinks highly of him. Elder Tien, do you seek me for something? Although this Elder Tien was in the martial god realm, Yang Lei felt no fear whatsoever. Even if the elder intended him harm, Yang Lei was confident he could still escape. After all, his thousandly blink was no ordinary skill. Elder Zhang Yi holds you in high regard. I never imagined you would receive his personal tutelage, your future is truly boundless. Tien Not said with a smile. Yang Lei smiled. Observing Tien Not's demeanor, it was clear that the elder's status likely didn't match that of his master, even if a convenient one. Coupled with his connection to Elder Gu, it was no wonder Elder Tien was showering him with such flattery. Elder Tien, surely you didn't seek me out and speak with me privately just to tell me this? As expected of someone held in such high regard by Elder Gu and Elder Zhang. Indeed, the one who truly wishes to see you is not me, but another, Elder Tien Not said. Someone else entirely? Who is it? Just let them in. Yang Lei, however, was somewhat perplexed. Who else in Xuanji sect would want to see him? Could it be Dongfang Xiaoyu? Or had she learned of his whereabouts and sent someone to deliver a letter? If that were the case, it would make sense. Duan Rong, you may enter. Yang Lei stared, stunned, at the incoming figure. This was the stunningly beautiful madam among the 3 sect enforcers. However, upon reflection, he realized it was possible. After all, Dongfeng Xiaoyu's master was a woman, sending a female enforcer to deliver a message was perfectly normal. You two talk. I shall take my leave. Elder Tian Not gave Yang Lei an ambiguous smile, then headed outside. Once Elder Tian Not had left, Duan Rong sat down. What do you seek me for? Yang Lei looked at the woman. She was indeed quite alluring, her full bosom, swaying gently, was undeniably captivating. Indented where it should be, protruding where it should be, her figure was flawless. Am I beautiful? Duan Rong asked, smiling alluringly as she gazed at Yang Lei. Although he wasn't sure what she was getting at, Yang Lei still nodded. It was undeniable that she was a peerless beauty, the kind that could bring ruin to nations. If she weren't a Xuanji sect enforcer and didn't possess such powerful cultivation, she would undoubtedly face a dire fate. Beautiful, but what do you seek me for? Yang Lei wasn't the type to lose his footing just because he saw a beautiful woman. Although this woman was captivating to the extreme, he still tried his best to keep his mind clear. One who cultivated the Ice Heart incantation had a great advantage in this aspect, able to resist various temptations. My name is Duan Rong, and I am a Xuanji sect enforcer. I sought you out this time, in truth, simply to meet you once, to see if you are the one chosen by my heart, Duan Rong said with a smile. Yang Lei froze upon hearing this. This woman, what did she mean? Just to meet him once, to see if he was the one chosen by her heart. What was this chosen one by her heart about? Could it be that she wasn't sent by Dongfeng Xiaoyu to deliver a message? If not, then what was the meaning behind her words? What do you mean by that? Nothing in particular. I merely wished to see you, and to ask if you found me beautiful, Duan Rong said, casting a seductive glance at Yang Lei. These words left Yang Lei even more confused. Was this beautiful madam trying to seduce him? Did she truly think highly of him? Did she want him as her kept man? If there's nothing else, then I shall take my leave. I still have matters to attend to. Hearing this, Duan Rong gazed at Yang Lei with a mournful, resentful look, as if he were a man who had abandoned her and betrayed her heart. Am I truly so unbearable? Do you dislike seeing me so much? Yang Lei felt a headache coming on. Though he was only 16 in this world, his true age was over 20, and he had some experience, making him quite aware of matters between men and women. If you truly have no other business, then I truly must depart. Forgive me for not accompanying you further, Yang Lei said, rising to his feet. Hearing this, Duan Rong, her mournful, resentful gaze fixed on him, said, All right, sit down and we'll talk. I will tell you the true purpose of my visit. Yang Lei finally sat down. What is it? Can you speak now? Do you believe in destiny? Duan Rong asked, her beautiful, captivating eyes fixed on Yang Lei. What do you mean? Yang Lei was utterly bewildered. What did believing in destiny have to do with him? What did it have to do with her seeking him out? Yang Lei didn't understand, he seemed to have no prior connection with her. Of course, when it came to destiny, Yang Lei didn't believe in it. He had always held that his fate was his own to control, not the heavens. However, he was also deeply conflicted. He had obtained the all-encompassing cultivation system, and he had transmigrated to this world. Wasn't this destiny? Yang Lei wasn't clear about these matters, and couldn't answer. Without waiting for Yang Lei's reply, Duan Rong continued, I believe in the existence of destiny. She paused for a moment, then looked at Yang Lei and said, Our meeting was arranged by destiny. Our meeting was arranged by destiny? Yang Lei was stunned once more. What connection do we have? Although Duan Rong hadn't yet spoken it aloud, Yang Lei had more or less guessed. Sure enough, Duan Rong continued, Our connection is a heaven-ordained affinity. Cough asterisk, what did you say? A heaven-ordained affinity? You can say such a thing? How do you know this is a heaven-ordained affinity? If it's destiny, how would you know it yourself? Can you perhaps divine heavenly secrets? What a joke. Even if destiny exists, destiny is unfathomable, heavenly will is unfathomable. If one could truly predict it, truly see it, would it still be destiny? Heavenly will is fickle, fate is ever-changing, it cannot be measured, cannot be divined. You don't believe me? Yang Lei said, How do you expect me to believe you? Although you are a peerless beauty, I admit that. And I also admit that your beauty stirs my heart, but that's no reason, is it? If you can even see through destiny, then how could you still be a mere sect enforcer? Duan Rong smiled, and spoke to Yang Lei without anger. Have you heard of the karmic affinity stone? Upon hearing this, some memories immediately surfaced in Yang Lei's mind. Equals 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 Chapter 187, by Suzhin Awakens. 1. The Destiny Stone, a legendary wondrous treasure capable of discerning the fated connections of all under heaven. This Destiny Stone had no other effect, but if a woman obtained it and dripped blood to make it acknowledge her as its master, she could sense her future karmic affinity and find her true destined love. This Destiny Stone was incredibly mystical, though Yang Lei didn't know much about it, only having read about it in books. As for whether such a thing truly existed, Yang Lei was skeptical. I've heard of it, but what about it? Don't tell me you've obtained a Destiny Stone? And it showed that your fated partner is me? That's right. Duan Rong took out a Destiny Stone. It was a peculiar red stone, rumored that when a woman made the Destiny Stone acknowledge her as its master and saw her true destined love, the stone would emit a faint red light and a warm sensation, serving as a reminder to the woman. And at this very moment, the stone Duan Rong held was indeed emitting a faint red light. The moment the Destiny Stone was taken out, Yang Lei clearly sensed an inexplicable connection between himself and the stone. Startled, Yang Lei hastily activated his true eagle eye, discovering that the stone was indeed as described. He then cast an appraisal technique on it to verify if it was truly a Destiny Stone. Ding! Appraisal successful. EXP plus 10 million, G energy plus 100,000, accumulation points plus 100,000. Proficiency increased. Destiny Stone, an incredibly peculiar precious stone, capable of discerning a woman's true destined love. Yang Lei couldn't help but stare blankly. This was truly a Destiny Stone. This. How can this be? It's an authentic Destiny Stone, this. Seeing Yang Lei's stunned expression, Duan Rong smiled, a truly joyful smile. Previously, she had shown no interest in other men, including many absolutely outstanding ones, even martial gods who had expressed admiration for her. She had rejected them all, precisely to find the person who could make the Destiny Stone react. The first time she sensed Yang Lei's presence, she was ecstatic, knowing her fated connection had appeared. Do you believe it now? Give me a moment to collect myself. Yang Lei rubbed his forehead, only looking up after a long while. What do you intend to do? Duan Rong looked at Yang Lei and smiled, saying, What to do? Naturally, I'll marry you and fulfill our fated connection. Do you truly believe this Destiny Stone? Believe that I am your husband? Yang Lei looked at her and asked. If I didn't believe it, I wouldn't be sitting here right now, Duan Rong said, looking at Yang Lei. What I want to know now is, what are your intentions? Yang Lei was actually in a difficult position. Such a great beauty was hard for anyone to refuse, and Yang Lei was naturally no exception. However, for him at present, romantic love was not the most important thing. What was paramount was raising his strength, to quickly become powerful. I'm not thinking about these things right now. Even if this is true, I'm still young, too young. After a long pause, Yang Lei finally looked up at Duan Rong and said. Seeing Yang Lei say this, Duan Rong smiled again, only this makes you worthy of being my, Duan Rong's, fated one. Don't worry, I won't demand that we unite now. Only when your strength breaks through to the martial god realm will I truly become your woman. However, if you ever need anything, you can come find me. This is my communication talisman. Duan Rong took out a talisman and handed it to Yang Lei. What did Elder Channy want with you? Stepping out of the immortal artifact space, Gu Jing couldn't help but ask. Nothing. Yang Lei naturally wouldn't reveal those matters. Let's go. Weren't you going to find old Gu? If you don't want to say, then don't. I don't even want to know anyway. Gu Jing said, a little displeased. Yang Lei shook his head, saying nothing more. In the end, Yang Lei didn't go with Gu Jing to find old Gu, but Yang Qingshui was coaxed away by Gu Jing. That was fine, though. Yang Qingshui was one of his few friends, and meeting old Gu would be beneficial for her. Returning to his courtyard, Yang Lei activated his system. Today, his accumulation points had reached 3.4 million, but it was still far from the next upgrade. Yang Lei knew clearly that the system's next upgrade would likely require accumulation points to reach 10 million. With only over 3 million today, it was far from enough. During the second round of selections, his gains had certainly been considerable. What delighted Yang Lei the most was the Linglong Immortal Pagoda Pearl. That was a genuine immortal artifact, and immortal artifacts were, as far as Yang Lei knew, the most powerful equipment available. Although he couldn't use this Linglong Immortal Pagoda yet, he would surely be able to someday, as long as his cultivation improved. Next were the special storyline quest card and the upgrade card. Yang Lei wouldn't use the upgrade card unless it was a special occasion, and it wasn't yet time to use the special storyline quest card either. During these 10 days of rest, he would properly cultivate and adjust his state. Just then, Yang Lei sensed a message emanating from Baisuzhen, who was slumbering within his arm. Yang Lei was overjoyed. Baisuzhen had awakened. Baisuzhen was a 9th level sacred beast. Her awakening meant he had gained a significant boost in strength. I want to come out. Appear then. Yang Lei replied joyfully. Having received Yang Lei's permission, Baisuzhen transformed into a streak of white light and appeared before him. Young master. Yang Lei was overjoyed, looking at her and saying, Susu, you're awake? Have you fully advanced to a 9th level sacred beast? Baisuzhen nodded lightly. Yes, Susu has fully advanced to the 9th level today and can skillfully wield her own power. Good, good, this is truly wonderful. Yang Lei had waited a long time for this day. He had felt the frustration of being ambushed and hunted down by Yang Bing's 2 companions. If Baisuzhen had been there then, he wouldn't have been in such a predicament. He wouldn't have had to worry about gold-ranked assassins. Now, even if the Celestial Star Tower sent out higher-level assassins, Yang Lei would not be afraid. Oh right, Susu, what do you want now? If you need anything, I can give it to you. Oh, these pills, you should be able to use them. Yang Lei took out some pills, Meridian Unblocking pills, Earth Essence pills. Although their grades weren't very high, they were all perfect grade pills. These are, pills? Equals 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 Chapter 188, Baisuzhen Awakens. 2. As a divine beast, Baisuzhen had long lived in Yanshan. These elixirs were merely something she had heard of. To obtain them was fundamentally a difficult feat of course, they weren't entirely unobtainable. Cultivators entered Yanshan every year, so elixirs were sometimes acquired. But those elixirs were worlds apart from the perfect grade pills Yang Lei refined. Indeed, these are elixirs. They should be quite helpful to you, Yang Lei said with a smile. Young master, this. Susu cannot accept them. They are far too precious. Young master should keep these elixirs for himself. Though Baisuzhen greatly desired these elixirs, she knew their immense value and hurriedly refused. Take them. I refined all these elixirs myself, and they will be beneficial to you. Since you are now my person, I will not treat you shabbily, Yang Lei said. This, young master, you truly give them to me? Indeed, these elixirs should be helpful to you. Thank you, young master. Susu will accept them then. Thank you, young master. Baisuzhen was overjoyed. Her loyalty to Yang Lei, this master she had reluctantly acknowledged, deepened further. Watching Baisuzhen store away the elixirs, Yang Lei finally nodded in satisfaction. Ah, that's right. Yang Lei suddenly recalled the white dragon sword. It was specifically crafted for Baisuzhen. Baisuzhen should possess a white dragon bloodline, but it wasn't confirmed. It was better to ask for clarity. Thus, he asked, Susu, what kind of weapon do you prefer? I prefer using a sword, Baisuzhen replied. A sword? Good, that's excellent. I have a fine sword, but it requires a white dragon bloodline to be wielded. If you possess a white dragon bloodline, then I can entrust it to you, Yang Lei said, looking at Baisuzhen. White dragon bloodline. Young master, how do you know Susu possesses a white dragon bloodline? Baisuzhen stammered, surprised. You truly have a white dragon bloodline? That's wonderful. Yang Lei was extremely pleased. Since you prefer using a sword and also possess a white dragon bloodline, I have prepared a precious sword for you. I hope you will not dishonor it. Wait a moment, I will retrieve it for you. Yang Lei activated his system and located the white dragon sword. White dragon sword. This sword is a high-grade spirit artifact. It can manifest a true dragon to contend with foes, possessing immense power. However, it requires a white dragon bloodline to acknowledge its master and unleash its full potential. The points required for exchange were 300,000. Yang Lei's current points balance was around 3,400,000, so this 300,000 was a very manageable expenditure. Ding. Exchange for white dragon sword? Exchange. Ding. Congratulations, player, you have obtained the white dragon sword. Yang Lei immediately took the white dragon sword into his hand. The sword was pure white all over, its blade resembling a white dragon, exuding an imposing aura. What a magnificent sword. The moment she saw the white dragon sword, Bai Suzhen's eyes widened. This sword seemed to have been made just for her. Bai Suzhen felt an inexplicable sense of familiarity, as if the white dragon sword was originally hers, even before she held it. At that moment, the white dragon sword seemed to sense Bai Suzhen's presence. It glowed with white light, manifesting a fleeting, ethereal miniature white dragon. It struggled free from Yang Lei's hand and flew into Bai Suzhen's. This left Yang Lei utterly astonished. It seemed this was destined by the heavens. Yang Lei himself quite liked the white dragon sword, but unfortunately, he couldn't use it. Young master, thank you. Bai Suzhen caressed the white dragon sword for a moment, then suddenly kissed Yang Lei on the cheek. This left Yang Lei momentarily stunned. Could it be that he, too, was about to embark on a human-demon romance? Was he falling into the role of Su Xian? Thinking about it, it didn't seem so bad after all. There's no need for thanks. When you grow stronger, it will be of great help to me as well. You are not an outsider, Yang Lei said. Bai Suzhen was incredibly moved. Such a precious sword, who would part with it for a mere demonic familiar? Bai Suzhen was Yang Lei's demonic familiar, and on the Chengwu continent, no one would willingly give such a valuable treasure to their own familiar, even if they had no personal use for it, they wouldn't be able to part with it. Acknowledge its master. First, bind it with a drop of your blood, Yang Lei said. Bai Suzhen nodded happily. She made a tiny cut on her fair hand, letting a drop of blood fall onto the white dragon sword. Instantly, the sword transformed into a white dragon and burrowed into Bai Suzhen's glabella. Bai Suzhen's body trembled, and her entire form was enveloped in waves of white light, seeming to exhibit a tendency towards dragon transformation. Several mystical runes then appeared within the white light, gradually shrinking until they condensed into an imprint, etched upon Bai Suzhen's glabella. At this moment, a small, lustrous white horn, like polished jade, grew from Bai Suzhen's forehead. This lustrous white horn was a sign of dragon transformation. Once transformed into a dragon, it meant becoming a divine beast. How could Yang Lei not be thrilled? After a long moment, the white light dissipated, and Bai Suzhen opened her eyes. Yang Lei eagerly asked, Su, how do you feel? I've advanced, Bai Suzhen said. Advanced? Yang Lei was greatly startled. Could it be that you've broken through 9th level and entered 10th level? Even if this white dragon sword were a divine artifact, it wouldn't be that powerful, would it? Yang Lei found it hard to believe. If advancing to 10th level were so simple, it would be too heaven-defying. Even Yang Lei felt a mix of envy, jealousy, and wonder. 10th level was equivalent to a human's martial god realm, and a 10th level divine beast would absolutely be far more formidable than an ordinary martial god. Bai Suzhen shook her head. No, it's not that easy to reach 10th level. However, I am now at the peak of the 9th level realm, which is the martial saint great perfection stage. Hiss. Yang Lei couldn't help but suck in a cold breath. To reach martial saint great perfection, this was truly monstrous. Just a few months ago, she was only at 8th level, unable to undergo human transformation. With the yin-yang fruit and now this white dragon sword, to reach the martial saint great perfection realm in such a short time was incredibly formidable. Envy, extreme envy, filled him. Are you speaking the truth? Bai Suzhen nodded gently. It's true, young master. That's truly wonderful. I never imagined the white dragon sword to be so potent. Isn't this even stronger than a divine artifact? Yang Lei said, looking at Bai Suzhen. Chapter 189. White Dragon Sword Art. Bai Suzhen shook her head and said, No, the white dragon sword doesn't possess such immense energy. The reason Tusu could achieve this breakthrough is because young master fed Tusu that yin-yang fruit. The spiritual energy of the yin-yang fruit was incredibly vast, and Tusu was originally unable to fully absorb it. However, this white dragon sword awakened the true dragon bloodline within Tusu's body, allowing her to completely absorb the yin-yang fruit's energy, thus elevating her cultivation to the martial saint great perfection realm. So that's how it was. Yang Lei pondered, and it made sense. This was the only plausible explanation. The white dragon sword was merely a supreme-grade spirit artifact. It couldn't possibly be that powerful on its own. However, this white dragon sword is a sealed divine artifact. Yang Lei was stunned. This white dragon sword was a divine artifact? A sealed divine artifact? How could that be? His appraisal art had already examined it, and it was clearly a supreme-grade spirit artifact, showing no signs of being sealed. This made Yang Lei suspicious. You say this white dragon sword is a divine artifact? How come I didn't notice? Let me see it. Bai Suzhen nodded slightly. A white light flashed in her hand, and the white dragon sword appeared before them, which she then handed to Yang Lei. Appraisal art. White dragon sword. Owner bound. Sealed divine artifact. Immeasurable power, capable of manifesting white dragon attacks. It really was a divine artifact. It genuinely was a divine artifact. It seemed he had struck gold this time. A single divine artifact, if he wanted to exchange for it, wouldn't be simple. 300,000 points wouldn't even be enough for the first digit. Yang Lei returned the white dragon sword to Bai Suzhen and said, Tusu, keep it safe. This white dragon sword is meant for you. Moreover, as a martial saint of great perfection, only you can unleash its full power. As for the white dragon sword's seal, I'll figure out a way to break it later. By then, Tusu, you'll possess a true divine artifact. You must protect me well, alright? Yang Lei smiled, looking at Bai Suzhen. Rest assured, young master, Tusu will definitely protect you well. Anyone who wishes to harm you must first step over Tusu's corpse. Bai Suzhen declared solemnly. Yang Lei smiled faintly. Oh, right, Tusu, do you have a suitable sword art? A sword art. Bai Suzhen shook her head. Although she liked sword arts, she genuinely didn't have a suitable one. I only have a spirit snake sword art. Upon hearing this, Yang Lei immediately felt that this sword art was far too unsuitable. With a treasured sword like the white dragon sword, if there wasn't a fitting sword art, wouldn't that be an insult to the white dragon sword? The white dragon sword was a divine artifact, while the spirit snake sword art was at most an earth tier sword art, perhaps not even reaching earth tier. As expected, Bai Suzhen said, the spirit snake sword art was something I stumbled upon. It's a profound tier 9th grade sword art. Because Bai Suzhen hadn't undergone her transformation before, she couldn't cultivate sword arts at all, so she had no experience with them. As for why she favored swords as weapons, it was merely an instinctive choice for Bai Suzhen. Tusu, wait a moment. I'll see if there's a sword art suitable for you. With that, Yang Lei once again opened the system. Exchange system, cultivation techniques and martial skills category. Sword art subcategory. He looked it up, and indeed, there really was a white dragon sword art, making Yang Lei overjoyed. However, when he saw the points required to exchange for the white dragon sword art, his joy quickly vanished. To exchange for the complete white dragon sword art, it actually required 5 million points. This made Yang Lei so furious he almost swore aloud. That was 5 million points. Even the pure yang art, belonging to one of the 8 immortals, pure yang true person Lu Dongbin, only cost around 5 million points. Could this white dragon sword art actually be an immortal tier sword art? Upon closer inspection, this white dragon sword art surprisingly consisted of 108 volumes. Yang Lei couldn't help but feel like spitting blood. A single sword art was divided into so many volumes, this was utterly baffling. Fortunately, upon closer inspection, it could be exchanged in separate volumes. Exchanging 9 volumes only required 500,000 points, while exchanging the first 18 volumes required 1 million points. In that case, he would first exchange for 18 volumes. These 18 volumes should be enough for Bai Suzhen to utilize. After all, if this white dragon sword art was so powerful, comparable to the pure yang art, then the first 18 volumes should suffice. Ding. Do you wish to exchange for 18 volumes of the white dragon sword art? Exchange. Ding. Congratulations, player, you have acquired the White Dragon Sword art. With the White Dragon Sword art in hand, he had now spent a total of 1,300,000 points. His original 3,400,000 points had dwindled to 2,100,000. He wondered how long it would take to reach 10 million points. Nevertheless, he calculated that it was all worth it. As the saying went, sharpening the axe doesn't delay chopping wood. Spending these 1,300,000 points would absolutely elevate Baisuzhen's combat prowess by another significant tier, making it completely effortless for her to deal with even martial saint great perfection experts. However, there was one thing that worried Yang Lei: if Baisuzhen killed enemies, would he also gain experience points? Would he receive her accumulated points and rewards? If not, that would be a troublesome matter indeed. Tusu, this is a sword art called the White Dragon Sword art. It should be a complete set with your White Dragon Sword. This White Dragon Sword art is divided into 108 volumes in total, but I only have 18 volumes here. Even these 18 volumes will bring you immeasurable benefits. Cultivate diligently and strive to master this White Dragon Sword art as soon as possible. Yang Lei handed the 18 volumes of the White Dragon Sword art to Baisuzhen. What surprised Yang Lei was that the moment the 18 volumes of the White Dragon Sword art touched Baisuzhen's hand, they instantly transformed into a beam of white light and merged into her glabella. After a long while, Baisuzhen opened her eyes. A blinding sword glint, incredibly powerful, flashed within them. Yang Lei could distinctly feel the sharp sword intent emanating from her. Tusu, are you all right? Yang Lei asked with concern. Baisuzhen looked at Yang Lei and said, Young master, you needn't worry. I have already comprehended these 18 volumes of the White Dragon Sword art. It is indeed vast and profound, with immeasurable power. If I could master the entire White Dragon Sword art, even a martial god of great perfection wouldn't pose a threat to Tusu. Then, having comprehended these 18 volumes, what is its power like? Equals 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 Chapter 190, Battle against Wang Gang. 1. Baisuzhen looked at Yang Lei, her spirits high, and said with utmost confidence, Young master, though Susu has only mastered the first 18 volumes of this White Dragon Sword art, its power is no laughing matter. Even if 3 martial saints at great perfection were to attack together, Susu would not fear them. Hearing this, Yang Lei couldn't help but suck in a cold breath. Not fearing 3 martial saints at great perfection charging together? This meant that with this White Dragon Sword art, battle prowess increased threefold, which was terrifying indeed. If one were to master all 36 volumes of the White Dragon Sword art, how fearsome would that be? And if it were fully comprehended, it would simply be beyond imagination. Thinking of this, Yang Lei couldn't help but drool. This White Dragon Sword art, alas, he couldn't learn it himself. He felt helpless, utterly helpless. But fortunately, Baisuzhen was his person. If his accumulated points were a bit higher, he could redeem that pure Yang art. If he mastered that pure Yang art, what kind of scene would unfold then? Perhaps the pure Yang art was not as simple as it seemed. Once mastered, it could absolutely rival a martial god. However, it required far too many accumulated points, and perhaps even had learning restrictions. 10 days passed quickly. Apart from Yang Lei, Yang Qingshui, and Gu Jing, the other 7 individuals who entered the top 10 were, in order, Gu Ziyan, Dongfang Xiaodao, Zhao Xiaohuan, Qian Wuji, Wang Gang, and Zhou Yu. These were all individuals Yang Lei had noticed before. The final person was a martial king of the 6th stage, named Yang Tianyong, which surprised Yang Lei a little, as this fellow was a direct disciple of the Yang family. Right now, we are commencing the top 10 ranking tournament. All of you are eligible to enter my Xuanji sect and become inner disciples. However, as it is said, in scholarship, there is no second place, in martial arts, there is no first. A ranking must be established. Based on your strength, the benefits you receive will differ. The benefits I speak of are, in fact, contribution points. Within the Xuanji sect, everything requires contribution points to redeem, much like currency in the mortal world. This ranking tournament is an opportunity for you to earn contribution points. The first place winner will receive 1,500 contribution points, second place 1,000 points, third place 800 points. From 4th to 10th place, they will receive 700, 600, 500, 400, 300, 200, and 100 points respectively. Outer disciples do not receive contribution points. As for how these contribution points are used, you will understand once you enter the sect. Contribution points, these contribution points, seem to be truly important. But to Yang Lei, they weren't of much concern. Naturally, it was the same for Gu Jing. However, for Yang Lei, first place had to be secured. If he was going to do something, he would do it best. This ranking tournament is not only related to contribution points but also to your choice of cultivation chambers upon entering the Xuanji sect. The higher your rank, the better the cultivation chamber you will receive, the richer the spiritual qi, and the faster your cultivation speed. Therefore, I hope you all strive with your utmost effort. This ranking tournament will adopt a points system. 1 point will be awarded for each victory, and no points for defeat. The final rankings will be determined by accumulated points. In case of a tie in points, a tiebreaker match will decide the winner. Now, let us begin drawing opponents. Yang Lei's opponent this time was Wang Gang, a relatively outstanding disciple of the Wang family, with a cultivation of martial king great perfection. To Yang Lei, he was not worth mentioning, someone who could be easily annihilated. Gu Jing's opponent was Zhao Xiaohuan of the Zhao family. Zhao Xiaohuan's cultivation had reached the 3rd stage of martial emperor, but this was certainly a tragedy for her facing Gu Jing. Gu Jing was a powerhouse at the 4th stage of martial emperor, and her green lotus sword art was peerless under heaven, astonishing even Yang Lei. Therefore, Zhao Xiaohuan absolutely had no hope of winning. Yang Qingshui's luck was not bad, she drew Yang Tianyong. Yang Tianyong could be said to be the weakest among these individuals. However, Yang Lei perceived that this fellow might not be as simple as he seemed, otherwise, with a cultivation of martial king 6th stage, it would be difficult to enter the top 10. Therefore, Yang Qingshui truly could not be careless. What's more, Yang Qingshui's cultivation was only martial king 5th stage, no, it should be martial king 6th stage now. With Elder Gu's assistance, Yang Qingshui's cultivation had advanced another layer. Although Yang Qingshui didn't have 100% certainty against Yang Tianyong, Yang Lei could give her talismans and medicinal pills, especially that great strength Vajra pill, which could increase battle prowess 20-fold. That should be enough to deal with Yang Tianyong. Elsewhere, Dongfang Xiaodao would face Zhou Yu, and Gu Ziyan would face Qian Wuji. The battle between Dongfang Xiaodao and Zhou Yu was difficult to predict, the outcome was hard to say. As for Gu Ziyan versus Qian Wuji, there was no doubt, Gu Ziyan would certainly emerge victorious. The first duel was between Yang Lei and Wang Gang. You must do your best, Gu Jing said beside Yang Lei. If you can't even defeat him, then it would be truly shameful. I believe Big Brother Yang will definitely win, Yang Qingshui added. There's nothing to worry about in this match, Gu Ziyan said. Indeed, a mere martial king at great perfection can be easily crushed with a flick of the wrist. Yang Lei confidently stepped onto the arena. Yang Lei, the Yang family's trashy third young master, Wang Gang said coldly, looking at Yang Lei. You once won 300,000 spirit stones and took first place, your luck wasn't bad then. But now, your good fortune has run out. I intend to avenge the humiliation suffered by my elder brother, Wang Kuei. Unless you concede defeat, I will beat you into an unrecognizable pulp. Hearing this, Yang Lei chuckled, a smile blooming on his face. This fellow was actually so arrogant, completely disregarding him, acting as if he was number 1 under heaven, victory already in his grasp. Boasting without shame, Gu Jing and the others below the stage naturally heard, and couldn't help but murmur softly. You are very confident, but excessive confidence is arrogance, Yang Lei said with a faint smile. You are merely a martial king at great perfection. I will let you make the first move, otherwise, you won't have the chance. Arrogant, utterly arrogant. Wang Gang's face turned icy. Since you're seeking death, don't blame me. Heavenly Gang fist, one fist shaking heaven's fury. Wang Gang unleashed a punch, stirring up streaks of potent qi. Its power was boundless. Though Wang Gang was only at martial king great perfection, the single punch possessed a might comparable to the martial emperor realm. The powerful fist wind tore through the air, swift, exceedingly swift, arriving before Yang Lei in an instant. Equals 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 Chapter 191, Facing Wang Gang. 2. He landed a hit? How could it be so easy, so effortless? Everyone was incredulous. Wang Gang's punch had actually struck Yang Lei with such ease. They had expected a fierce dragon-tiger battle, but the reality left the spectators below the stage utterly disappointed. However, Gu Jing, Yang Qingshui, and Gu Zian remained unperturbed. They knew that Yang Lei couldn't possibly be defeated so easily. Seriously, Yang Lei was capable of dealing with the blood-devouring poison vine. How could a mere great perfection martial king be his opponent? He was merely toying with Wang Gang. Bang! As expected, although Wang Gang's fist landed on Yang Lei, he himself was sent flying back. How is this possible? That was a full-power strike comparable to a first-stage martial emperor, yet he was completely unharmed, shrugging it off and even deflecting Wang Gang's force back. Just how formidable is his physique? Everyone's eyes widened in shock. Especially Wang Gang, who was utterly disbelieving. You. How could you? How could you withstand my punch? I don't believe it. Wang Gang flew into a rage, roaring, "Heavenly Gang fist shattering mountains and rivers. Break for me. Die for me." Yang Lei sneered lightly, "Nothing is impossible. Before me, you are nothing but a mere clown." Yang Lei casually raised his fist and threw a punch. This punch was very slow, allowing everyone to see it clearly, and Yang Lei's fist seemed to carry no force at all, as if he were merely toying around. At this moment, Wang Gang's fist, imbued with fierce force, rapidly struck Yang Lei's hand. This punch was even more ferocious and aggressive than the last, capable of defeating even a 7th-level fierce tiger. Bang bang bang. Crack, crack. As the two fists collided, sounds of shattering bone echoed. Finger bones splintered and broke. Whose? Could it be Yang Lei's finger bones that shattered? No, that's not right. It wasn't Yang Lei's. Ah. At this moment, Wang Gang was sent flying back in agony, his groans incessant. His hand bones shattered, the disparity was unimaginable. Defeated, utterly defeated. Wang Gang was defeated by a single punch, without a shadow of a doubt. Yang Lei's strength was unfathomable. This was a punch delivered with effortless ease by Yang Lei, making everyone realize that his previous achievement of first place in the second round of tests, collecting over 300,000 spirit stones, was truly a testament to his deserved strength. A formidable opponent, he was absolutely a formidable opponent. This was the thought in everyone's minds, secretly comparing themselves. Could they have done it so easily? Could they have defeated Wang Gang with such ease? Dongfeng Xiaodao, Zhao Xiaohuan, and the others all felt uncertain in their hearts, while Zhou Yu's expression remained unchanged, as always, like a sculpture of a 10,000-year-old iceberg, devoid of emotion, his entire being shrouded in a black cloak. Wang Gang, do you concede? If you don't, I will continue my assault. On the arena stage, unless the opponent concedes, or is knocked unconscious on the ground with no power to retaliate, then as long as the opponent doesn't concede and still possesses the strength to fight back, the battle continues. You trash. Bastard. How could it be? How could you be this powerful? I don't believe it. Wang Gang's face twisted grotesquely as he stood up. You deserve to die. You actually shattered my right hand. I will kill you. Kill you, you beast. Wang Gang took out a talisman, crushed it, and the talisman transformed into a white light that adhered to his hand. The wound visibly healed at a speed discernible to the naked eye. A healing talisman? It's a healing talisman. Yang Lei was startled. He hadn't expected this fellow to actually possess a healing talisman. This was no ordinary talisman, it was undoubtedly an Earth-ranked talisman, belonging to the 5-star spirit talismans. Although Yang Lei also wished to refine such talismans, he regrettably lacked the cultivation method. Should he exterminate this guy? If he could obtain a healing talisman, it would be of great help to him. Die. I want you to die. Berserk battle puppet, come forth. At this moment, Wang Gang conjured a mysterious hand seal with both hands, and a ray of light erupted from his glabella. A black puppet flew out from his glabella, gradually enlarging as Wang Gang continuously struck with his hand seals, until it transformed into a gigantic 3-meter-tall puppet, only then ceasing its growth. Hiss. Everyone gasped in collective shock. This was the Berserk battle puppet. The legendary Berserk battle puppet, possessing immense power. This battle puppet's might could rival a martial saint. If Wang Gang's strength were even a little greater, this berserk battle puppet's power would likely be even more formidable. 1,000 years ago, someone at the Great Perfection Martial Emperor realm had once used a berserk battle puppet to utterly defeat and crush a Great Perfection Martial Saint, demonstrating just how terrifying this berserk battle puppet was. At this moment, Gu Jing and Yang Qingshui were filled with anxiety. They hadn't expected such an unforeseen turn of events. Although Wang Gang was only at the Great Perfection Martial King realm, with such a terrifying berserk battle puppet, could Yang Lei truly withstand it? Would he perhaps be defeated? Berserk battle puppet, attack. Kill him. Kill him for me. At this moment, Wang Gang's face grew even more hideous, like a malevolent ghost, truly terrifying to behold. Yang Lei also sensed danger. This berserk battle puppet clearly possessed such immense power, its strength was absolutely that of a martial saint. He swiftly retreated, searching for the berserk battle puppet's weaknesses. Boom boom boom. Under Wang Gang's will, the berserk battle puppet launched a frenzied attack. Massive fist imprints blasted towards Yang Lei with boundless power and berserk fighting intent, seemingly capable of shattering even the entire arena stage. Dodge, dodge, dodge. There was only evasion, avoiding the spearhead of the assault. Seeing Yang Lei being battered so awkwardly, like a stray dog fleeing everywhere, Wang Gang laughed maniacally without end. Yang Lei, you piece of trash. Today I will kill you. Crush you. Strangle you. Before the mighty combat power of the berserk battle puppet, you stand no chance. Die. Die for me. You can't escape. You can't escape. No matter what you do, you're still trash, and that won't change, do you hear? Trash. A piece of trash will always be trash. You are the disgrace of the Might King's manor. Your mother gave birth to a bastard. A lowly harlot birthed a bastard. This fact will never change. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Equals 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 Chapter 192. Raging War Puppet. Hearing these venomous words, Yang Lei was enraged, utterly enraged. He didn't evade, but immediately consumed a pill. Indeed, it was a great strength Vitra pellet. His combat strength instantly surged 20-fold, and his aura dramatically intensified. With the wind-hidden blade in hand, he took a deep breath. The time had come when he absolutely had to unleash that technique, the Heavenly Blade's first form. Yes, it was precisely the Heavenly Blade's first form. A 64-fold increase in combat strength, further amplified by the great strength Vajra pellet, resulted in nearly 1,280 times his original power. Facing this raging war puppet, he still stood a chance. In Wang Gang's hands, this raging war puppet was, at most, equivalent to a mid-stage martial saint practitioner. Mid-stage martial saint, so what? If it were a genuine mid-stage martial saint, he might not stand a chance. But don't forget, the master of this raging war puppet, its controller, was Wang Gang, whose cultivation was merely at the great perfection of martial king realm. By unleashing the Heavenly Blade's first form, he could shatter this raging war puppet. Even if it didn't shatter, it would surely be damaged, its power weakened, and forced to retreat. Then, he could deploy the Lesser Li's flying dagger and instantly kill Wang Gang. In the span of a single thought, a mere breath, Yang Lei had made his decision. His eyes flashed, emitting a cold glint. Wang Gang, you have successfully angered me. What if it's a raging war puppet? A treasure like the raging war puppet is wasted in your hands, nothing but a pile of scrap. Watch how I destroy it, and how I obliterate you. As he spoke, the wind-hidden blade in his hand glowed with a white radiance. His power surged continuously, his aura growing ceaselessly. Yang Lei's clothes fluttered without wind, his hair splayed out. His entire being resembled a majestic war god, awe-inspiring and overflowing with an imposing aura that made others dare not meet his gaze. Such powerful battle intent, such terrifying aura. He's clearly that strong. He's too powerful. What secret art is this, what technique? To be so fearsome, could it be a heaven-tier martial art? A blade light, a fundamental law. This is a fundamental law. Heavens, Yang Lei has actually comprehended a fundamental law. This is the law of the blade. Though it's only a wisp of the law of the blade, it's incredibly terrifying. How did he do it? He's only at the martial emperor realm. How is this possible? How is this possible? Even a martial god might not be able to comprehend a fundamental law, yet he did it? This is too terrifying. This young man is too heaven-defying. No wonder Elder Gu and Elder Zhangyi hold him in such high regard. Such potential, such unparalleled talent. Even the ancestral founder who established my profound mystery sect might not have been this formidable. My profound mystery sect is about to rise. We must rope him in, use every means to offer him benefits. In the future, we will surely receive immense returns. Elder Tianyi was uncontrollably excited, his face flushed crimson. He looked at Yang Lei like a lecher spotting a peerless beauty, or a drunkard finding unmatched fine wine, wishing he could pounce on him. How can this be? How is this possible? Feeling Yang Lei's aura continuously rise, Wang Gang was utterly shaken. This bastard Yang Lei is actually this powerful? His aura can already contend with my raging war puppet. But it's still not enough. Die. He must die. There's nothing impossible. Raging war puppet, watch as I obliterate you. Heavenly Blade's first form, cleave the void, perish for me. Yang Lei roared. The wind-hidden blade in his hand instantly transformed into a streak of lightning, a terrifying blade edge slashing towards the raging war puppet. Arrogant and ignorant. How can a lowly bastard like you compare to my raging war puppet? You seek death. This is nothing but seeking death. Raging war puppet, kill him for me. Kill. Crush him, crush this lowly bastard for me. Wang Gang's face twisted into a snarl, his wide mouth roaring incessantly. Bang bang bang, the raging war puppet, seemingly sensing danger, raised its fists and suddenly launched an attack. Two crimson fist auras blasted towards Yang Lei, meeting the incoming blade edge. Asterisk rumble. Rumble, asterisk each powerful explosion was deafening. Asterisk crack. Crack, asterisk the berserk chi force shattered the entire protective barrier of the arena. This is bad. The power is too great, the protective barrier clearly can't suppress it. Seeing the dire situation, Elder Tianyi hurriedly circulated the true chi within his body, adding it to the immortal chi above, reinforcing the entire protective barrier. After unleashing this terrifying Heavenly Blade's first form, Yang Lei hastily popped several chi restoration pills into his mouth, then circulated his true chi throughout his body. How terrifying it was for that colossal chi force to erupt within a confined space. Yang Lei knew this clearly in his heart. He hastily crushed several talismans, all of them great Earthvajra talismans, creating layers upon layers of defense. His iron cloth shirt, 6 layers of iron cloth shirt, protected his body. Although Wang Gang had the raging war puppet blocking most of the chi force, a small portion still struck his body. Wang Gang was merely at the great perfection of martial king realm, how could he withstand it? He was immediately sent flying, spitting fresh blood. However, Yang Lei wasn't much better off. After all, Yang Lei didn't have a raging war puppet to block the chi force, so most of the chi force directly impacted his body. What was worth celebrating, however, was that Yang Lei wore the obsidian immortal armor. Although it was a replica, it dissipated most of the chi force. Yet, because the obsidian immortal armor had endured such a violent impact, cracks appeared on its surface. Ding! Congratulations to the player for slaying the raging war puppet. Experience points EXP plus 100 million. Qigong value plus 1 million. Merit points plus 1 million. Ding! Congratulations to the player for acquiring the Heart of Rage. Slain. The raging war puppet was actually slain by him. This was truly unexpected. Although Yang Lei was not lightly injured at this moment, he smiled. This raging war puppet was formidable, so the Heart of Rage definitely wasn't an ordinary item, it was certainly something good. It might even be the core used to create the raging war puppet. Injured, Yang Lei wasn't worried. He consumed a 9-flower jade dew pellet, and his injuries immediately fully recovered. 150,000 merit points were thus spent. However, Yang Lei didn't feel pained, he had gained 1,000,000 merit points from slaying the raging war puppet this time. What truly pained Yang Lei was the replica obsidian immortal armor, which now showed signs of damage. Of course, it wasn't irreparable. However, with Yang Lei's current strength, repairing the obsidian immortal armor was fundamentally impossible. He would have to wait until his artifact forging skill reached a higher level before he could repair it. You're not dead? How can you not be dead? My raging war puppet, ah. Impossible. That's impossible. I don't believe it. How could you not die? Equals 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 Chapter 193, Head Enshrouding Hand. At this moment, Wang Gang saw that Yang Lei was clearly not dead, at most only having suffered minor injuries. Wang Gang went mad, his entire being like a lunatic. I know now. You're disguised, you must be faking it. I want to kill you, I must kill you. Wang Gang roared, lunging at Yang Lei. Heavenly adamant fist. One fist shatters heaven and earth. The power of this punch was far inferior to his previous efforts. To Yang Lei, it posed no threat whatsoever. Flying dagger. Literally flying dagger. A streak of white light flashed past, a small flying dagger embedded itself in the center of Wang Gang's heart. Ah. Ah. I. Unwilling to accept his fate, Wang Gang transformed into a beam of white light and vanished from the arena. Yang Lei wins this match, earning 1 point. Elder Tanny's figure materialized on the arena. The next round will commence in half an hour, Dongfang Xiaodao vs Zhou. Brother Yang, you're truly formidable. I never imagined you could even defeat the raging battle puppet. Yang Qingshui exclaimed, looking at Yang Lei with excitement. I never thought, Xiao Lei, that you could actually defeat the raging battle puppet. This is truly astonishing. Gu Jing also spoke, this is a raging battle puppet, its strength definitely surpasses an early-stage martial saint. Gu Jing knew very well in her heart that she would absolutely not be able to accomplish such a feat towards Yang Lei, she was utterly convinced. It was nothing, merely a secret technique that could instantly boost my combat power by 64 times. Coupled with that great strength Vajra ring, I was fortunate enough to defeat the raging battle puppet. Yang Lei said modestly. Compared to the joy on Yang Lei's side, Wang Gang's side was filled with endless fury. I've failed. I've been defeated. Where is my raging battle puppet? Where is my raging battle puppet? Why can't I sense its existence? Wang Gang was furious, yet also endlessly panicked. He clearly couldn't sense the raging battle puppet's existence. This raging battle puppet was a treasure of the Wang family. There were only 3 such revered puppets in the entire Wang family, one for him, one for his elder brother Wang Hai, and the last held by their grandfather. If the raging battle puppet vanished, it meant his combat prowess would be drastically reduced. Among everyone present, besides Yang Tianyong and Yang Qingshui, he wouldn't be able to defeat a single one. The crucial point was that the raging battle puppet's disappearance was a loss he himself could not bear. Upon seeing Yang Lei, Wang Gang's eyes turned bloodshot. It's you. You must have taken my raging battle puppet. Give it back to me. Otherwise, I won't let you off, and the Wang family won't let you off, you bastard. Humph, get lost. Don't force my hand and make me kill you. Yang Lei gazed coldly at Wang Gang. If not for his fear that Elder Channy might uncover his secrets, Yang Lei truly would have killed him. As for that raging battle puppet, it had been utterly destroyed by his heavenly blade's first form, there was no possibility of it recovering. Thus, Yang Lei was very clear that Wang Gang's raging battle puppet could never reappear. Beast. You beast. Quickly hand over my raging battle puppet. Otherwise, I'll make your life worse than death. Wang Gang threw a punch at Yang Lei. Yang Lei's gaze turned icy, and he spoke. Idiot. Then, he immediately struck out with a punch. Bang. Wang Gang was instantly sent flying, convulsing a few times before failing to stand up. Elder Channy observed all of this. Then, with a wave of his hand, Wang Gang vanished from their sight. Yang Lei clearly sensed that Wang Gang had been expelled from this immortal chi space. Such a move was incredibly profound. Yang Lei could also accomplish it, but it would consume a significant amount of energy. Brother Yang, did you truly take Wang Gang's raging battle puppet? Yang Qingshui asked with some concern. If that's the case, there might be trouble. His father, Wang Zhenwu, is no simple man. I heard his cultivation is on the verge of breaking through to the martial god realm. What is there to fear? Even if he dares, so what if he's a martial god? Don't I still have my grandfather? Xiao Lei, you don't need to worry. If Wang Gang's father, Wang Zhenwu, dares to come looking for trouble, I'll have my grandfather step in to deal with him. Gu Jing declared, raising a fist. Pausing for a moment, Gu Jing continued, but, Xiao Lei, did you really acquire his raging battle puppet? Take it out and let me see. I've only ever heard of them, I've never actually seen a raging battle puppet before. Yang Qingshui also looked at Yang Lei. The raging battle puppet's allure was indeed immense. Beside them, Gu Ziyan similarly watched him. Yang Lei sighed helplessly, waving his hand. Where would he have a raging battle puppet? All that remained was the heart of rage that had burst forth from it. That raging battle puppet had long since vanished into thin air. I truly didn't acquire that raging battle puppet. I merely obtained a heart of rage from within its body. The heart of rage? That's the core of a raging battle puppet. The reason a raging battle puppet can fight and possess such immense power is all due to the support of its heart of rage. Since you've obtained the heart of rage, perhaps one day you might even be able to craft your own raging battle puppet. Gu Ziyan said. Where is that heart of rage? Quickly, let me see it. Hearing Yang Lei mention obtaining the heart of rage, Gu Jing couldn't help but be overcome with curiosity. Yang Lei glanced at the three women, and could only take out the heart of rage. The heart of rage was a crimson gem, resembling a human heart. Within it was contained vast and raging energy. Yang Lei had once tried to harness it, the energy within was exceedingly domineering, and one careless mistake could lead to being influenced by it. Truly formidable. Gu Jing took the heart of rage, sensing the fierce, terrifying, utterly horrifying energy within. If fully unleashed, it would not even fear a martial god. Yang Lei had once considered using the heart of rage as a bomb. If detonated when facing a martial god, it could absolutely blast them to death. However, this matter was not so simple. It required careful planning, a suitable opportunity, and the right combination of heavenly timing, earthly advantages, and human harmony. None of these could be lacking, otherwise, how could a martial god be so easily dealt with? His own cultivation was still too weak. Killing a martial god would undoubtedly yield no small harvest, but currently, Yang Lei was merely pondering the possibility. What a pity there's no method to craft a raging battle puppet. Otherwise, with this heart of rage, one could create a raging battle puppet, and in that case, Xiao Lei, your strength would advance another level. Gu Ziyan sighed, saying, equals 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 Chapter 194, Mutual Harm. 1. This was also the truth. However, now that Bai Suzhen had awakened and her cultivation had reached the martial Saint Grand completion realm, the white dragon sword art she wielded possessed immense power. Though a frenzied combat puppet could provide her with tremendous assistance, it wasn't strictly necessary. Half an hour quickly passed. At this moment, Dongfeng Xiaodao and Zhou Yu stood upon the arena stage. Dongfeng Xiaodao was a martial emperor 3rd stage practitioner, while Zhou Yu's strength was at the martial emperor 4th stage. However, Yang Lei couldn't see through Zhou Yu. His root bone had a darkness attribute, and the cultivation technique he practiced was naturally different from ordinary people. These darkness attribute cultivation techniques were all extremely strange, thus Dongfeng Xiaodao would face a fierce battle. In truth, Yang Lei didn't think much of Dongfeng Xiaodao. And Dongfeng Xiaodao seemed to know that his opponent would be difficult to deal with. The moment he made his move, it was with full power, unleashing his most proud technique, the sky-shrouding hand. Sky-shrouding hand, one hand shrouds the heavens. Dongfeng Xiaodao unleashed an enormous palm strike, sweeping towards Zhou Yu. Its aura was incredibly formidable, though not comparable to Yang Lei's heavenly blade first form, it could truly contend with a martial emperor. That colossal palm seemed to want to blot out heaven and earth, such was its might. Zhou Yu frowned slightly, and a black banner appeared in his hand. The Darkness Demon Banner. It's the Darkness Demon Banner. Gu Jing exclaimed in fright upon seeing it. Darkness Demon Banner? What is the Darkness Demon Banner? Is it very powerful? Yang Lei couldn't help but ask, seeing Gu Jing's shock. Gu Jing explained, this Darkness Demon Banner was the renowned weapon of the Darkness King Lai Chongkong 3,000 years ago. It is a darkness attribute divine weapon of boundless power. Lai Chongkong once used it to slay countless martial saints and martial gods, forging his infamous reputation for a generation. That powerful? Yang Lei used his appraisal art on the Darkness Demon Banner. The information he received was indeed not much different from what Gu Jing had said. Darkness Demon Banner, grade, Heaven tier 5th grade. Status, semi-sealed. Multifaceted in offense and defense, immense power. When facing an enemy, it can release darkness chi, to befuddle the mind and attack the soul. The higher the user's cultivation, the greater the power it can unleash. Upon reaching the martial god grand completion realm, the darkness demon banner's greatest power can be fully unleashed. Truly formidable, and it was equipment for soul attacks. Moreover, this darkness demon banner was still in a semi-sealed state. What was even more terrifying was that it still required a martial god grand completion realm practitioner to unleash its full power. One could see how terrifying this darkness demon banner truly was. Dongfang Xiaodao's palm strike was clearly dispersed with ease by the darkness demon banner. Dongfang Xiaodao retreated several steps, his expression unnatural. This move clearly hadn't even touched Zhou. One could see how terrifying this Zhou was, and that small black banner gave him a pressure he had never felt before. My turn. Zhou let out a cold snort, forming several abstruse hand seals. The small black banner suddenly grew in size, then split into 4 parts, instantly surrounding Dongfang Xiaodao in the center. It formed a mysterious space, as if space itself was twisted by these 4 banners. From afar, everyone could only see black smoke swirling, incredibly eerie. Devil cultivation? Such a thought appeared in everyone's minds. However, if he truly practiced devil cultivation, how could Zhou dare to appear so openly and brazenly before everyone? And even participate in the profound mystery sex wind and cloud selection tournament? This was clearly impossible. Therefore, Zhou could not be a devil cultivator. The only certain conclusion was that this bizarre phenomenon was the effect of the darkness demon banner. At this moment, Dongfang Xiaodao was trapped within the 4 banners, facing immense pressure. It was as if countless vengeful spirits were crying out, unsettling one's mind. But Dongfang Xiaodao was, after all, a genius. To enter the martial emperor realm before the age of 20, one had to possess extraordinary talent and willpower far beyond that of ordinary people. Having cultivated outside for 3 years, he had experienced all kinds of trials, spending years on the brink of life and death. Therefore, such minor provocation was nothing to him, it couldn't shake his mind in the slightest. Sky-shrouding hand, tear it apart. Dongfang Xiaodao regained his clarity of mind, and with a sudden shout, a palm strike appeared once more, forcibly shattering the sealed space around him. Bang! 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 The darkness demon banner, having split into 4, reformed into a single small banner and returned to Zhou hand. Very good, very good. You are the strongest opponent I have ever faced. Zhou wiped a trace of blood from the corner of his mouth. The sealed space set up by the darkness demon banner had been broken, causing him no small injury either. As for Dongfang Xiaodao, he too suffered from the tremendous backlash, his internal organs trembling. He spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. Mutual harm. You're not bad either, to have injured me. The two looked at each other again, neither daring to act rashly, secretly recovering their cultivation. After about a minute, both moved, simultaneously. Sky-shrouding hand, sky-shrouding sun offering, rending the long sky. Dongfang Xiaodao once again unleashed his sky-shrouding hand. At the same time, the sky-shrouding hand was also a divine weapon, integrated with Dongfang Xiaodao's right hand, making it incredibly powerful. However, due to his own strength limitations, Dongfang Xiaodao couldn't completely fuse with it. Thus, the sky-shrouding hand he unleashed could only display less than 1% of the true sky-shrouding hand's might. Nevertheless, even 1% of its might was terrifying beyond compare. An enormous palm struck towards Zhou, seemingly intending to rip him apart, showing no mercy whatsoever. At this moment, Zhou was no longer as nonchalant as he had been at the start. His expression was extremely solemn. This move was truly terrifying. This was the final strike, meant to decide victory or defeat. This was the decisive blow, whoever gained the upper hand would claim victory. At this moment, Zhou closed his eyes. The black banner in his hand flew up, continuously spinning around him. Zhou muttered under his breath, "Devil God who controls darkness, grant me strength. Shatter all disrespectful beings before you. Darkness demon banner, merge into my body." The black banner immediately transformed into a ray of black light, piercing into the center of Zhou's brows. Zhou's body immediately shuddered, and he opened his eyes once more. His gaze now radiated a soul-shaking brilliance. At this moment, Zhou's power surged, and his aura wildly intensified. equals 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 Chapter 195, Mutually Crippled. Part 2, Martial Emperor 5th Stage, 6th Stage, 7th Stage. His power was still continuously rising, continuously climbing. Martial Sovereign 1st Stage, 2nd Stage. Until it finally stopped at the Martial Sovereign Grand Perfection realm. As his aura reached Martial Sovereign Grand Perfection, Chiyu's entire being seemed to grow much grander. A black scimitar appeared in his hand. Its serrated edge was savagely sharp, like the fangs of hell, sending shivers down one's spine. Sweep across the heavenly host, demonic god splits the heavens. Demonic god possession. It's demonic god possession again. Gujing couldn't help but exclaim. What? Are you saying Chiyu is currently summoning a demonic god to possess him? Yang Lei looked at Gujing and asked. Are there truly demonic gods in this world? Yang Lei didn't know either, but he himself had transmigrated here from Earth. What else could be impossible? Everything was possible. Gujing nodded lightly. This Chiyu must have summoned a trace of the demonic god's true spirit from within the dark demonic banner, integrating it into his body, causing his cultivation to surge. And the weapon in Chiyu's hand at this moment is likely the dark demonic banner transformed into the soul-reaping scimitar. That is the legendary weapon of the dark demonic god, which has claimed countless lives. Even gods have been slain by it countless times. Legends? These are all just legends. Yang Lei was dismissive, but Chiyu's cultivation at this moment was indeed terrifying. In an instant, it had clearly risen from Martial Emperor 4th Stage to Martial Sovereign Grand Perfection. Dongfang Xiaodao's sky-shrouding hand, though its aura was powerful and its might boundless, at this point, it was still a bit inferior. At this moment, Dongfang Xiaodao gritted his teeth and immediately swallowed a pill. A spirit energy pill. This was a spirit energy pill. Yang Lei had once refined one himself, the very same kind of spirit energy pill that had appeared when he refined the blood essence pill. No mistake, absolutely no mistake. However, this spirit energy pill's grade was much higher than the one Yang Lei had refined. But it wasn't a fully perfected pill, it was a 70% perfected earth-grade spirit energy pill. The value of a single spirit energy pill was absolutely comparable to a top-grade spirit artifact. Such a spirit energy pill could provide a continuous surge of power to its user for 3 hours, which would then convert into true qi. In other words, though this spirit energy pill couldn't increase the user's cultivation level, it could sustain them for 3 hours, allowing them to continuously unleash their power, even their strongest ultimate moves, for that entire duration. In a battle, if one could maintain their optimal state for 3 hours, with an unending supply of power, how terrifying would that be? Therefore, this spirit energy pill was extremely precious, though it couldn't compare to the blood essence pill, it was not far behind. Boom, boom, boom. The sky-shrouding hand and Chiyu's soul-reaping scimitar clashed, emitting a tremendous explosion. Dongfang Xiaodao was sent flying by this strike, but Chiyu merely retreated 5 steps. The disparity, this was the disparity. However, Dongfang Xiaodao, after being knocked flying, abruptly stood up, wiped a trace of blood from the corner of his mouth as if nothing had happened, and once again unleashed the sky-shrouding hand. Bang, bang, bang. The sky-shrouding hand and Chiyu's soul-reaping scimitar clashed again. This time, both were sent flying simultaneously. Although the arena's protective barrier wasn't shattered, the arena floor had long since become uneven, a desolate mess before their eyes. Cough, cough. Cough, cough. Both stood up again, looking at each other, fresh blood flowing freely. Both were in an utterly wretched state. At this moment, Dongfang Xiaodao and Chiyu were both at the end of their ropes. Neither could do anything to the other, it was clearly a case of mutual crippling. However, at this moment, neither of them had conceded defeat and could still continue fighting. They were determined to decide a victor. But at this moment, neither of them had the ability to further activate the sky-shrouding hand or the dark demonic banner. So, at this point, they resorted to the most primitive method of combat, directly using their physical strength. They rushed at each other, trading blows, punch for punch, every strike connecting with flesh. Yang Lei couldn't help but laugh at the sight. This was truly too undignified, both of their techniques were so poor. Even learning some basic fist and foot techniques would yield unexpected results. It seemed these two had focused too much on raising their cultivation realms and not enough on training basic combat moves. This second match was ultimately won by Chiyu. In truth, the two were not far apart in strength, but Chiyu had merely managed to hold on for a few more seconds than Dongfeng Xiaodao. The next, third match was Gu Jing against Zhao Xiaohuan of the Zhao family. This Zhao Xiaohuan's strength was quite decent, and he certainly possessed powerful weapons and formidable cultivation techniques. However, against Gu Jing, he was bound to fail. Seeing Gu Jing about to step onto the stage, Yang Lei pulled her back. "Wait a moment, I'll give you something." "What?" "Hurry up, I can't wait to go teach that guy a lesson," Gu Jing said. Yang Lei took out 2 porcelain bottles, one contained rejuvenation pills, the other great strength Vajra pellets. "These 2 types of medicinal pills might be useful to you," Yang Lei said. "I won't say much about the great strength Vajra pellets, they can increase your combat strength 20-fold. As for the rejuvenation pills, you yourself know clearly that they can quickly restore your true chi. Are you perhaps still afraid that I can't handle him?" Gu Jing, upon hearing this, was somewhat displeased. Yang Lei heard this and quickly said, "Of course, that's not what I meant. It's just a precaution, just in case." "That's right, Sister Jing, just take them," Yang Qingshui also said. "This is Big Brother Yang's kind intention." Gu Jing glanced at Yang Lei, then at Yang Qingshui, finally taking the items. "Thank you, little brother Lei." Then, with a playful smile, she leaped onto the stage. Yang Lei was immediately speechless. Calling him little brother again, his previous bet, she probably wouldn't acknowledge it now. Yang Lei wouldn't mind this, though, women were all unreasonable creatures. Just concede defeat. As soon as Gu Jing stepped onto the stage, she said to Zhao Xiaohuan. Upon hearing this, Zhao Xiaohuan couldn't help but feel angry. He thought to himself, on what grounds? Just because you're a beauty? Even so, what of it? Once this old man becomes a true disciple of the profound mystery sect and a martial god, what kind of beauties won't I have? Why would I care for the likes of you? Moreover, this woman had supposedly once dealt with his younger brother, Zhao Xiaoyi. Thus, he glared coldly at Gu Jing. Concede defeat? I think you're the one who should concede. I know you once bullied my younger brother. Today, I will avenge my younger brother and let you know the consequences of offending my Zhao family. Equals 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 Chapter 196, Saint Transformation Pill offend your Zhao family? So what? A mere Zhao family dares to boast so shamelessly. Since you refuse to concede, I shall have no choice but to make you yield with my own hands, to show you the true power of this young lady. Gu Jing finished speaking and summoned her azure lotus treasure sword. At that moment, Zhao Xiaohuan let out a cold snort, summoning his own weapons, a pair of twinjian, the golden twinjian. These golden twinjian were also divine artifacts. Though only low-grade, their might was boundless, far surpassing any ordinary spirit weapon. Witnessing divine artifacts emerge one after another, Yang Lei couldn't help but be stunned. Divine artifacts were originally considered exceedingly rare treasures in the Qianyuan kingdom, yet so many had appeared this time. It was truly astounding. Could divine artifacts have become worthless? It seemed that in previous realms, such an abundance of divine artifacts had never appeared. At most, only 3 had surfaced, but now, a total of 4 had already made their presence known. Azure Lotus Sword Art, one sword transforms into Azure Lotus. As Gu Jing let out a soft cry, sword light flared brightly. Streaks of sword chi transformed into graceful Azure Lotuses, soaring towards Zhao Xiaohuan. They seemed exquisitely beautiful, yet within their enchanting glow, limitless killing intent lay concealed. Zhao Xiaohuan let out a cold snort. A puny Azure Lotus. Watch as I shatter it. Twinjian transform into Jialong. Go. Zhao Xiaohuan wielded the golden twinjian with both hands. Instantly, the twinjian transformed into 2 Jialongs. These 2 Jialongs let out a prolonged roar, rushing in unison towards the Azure Lotus, their ferocious momentum threatening to tear it to shreds. Very quickly, the 2 golden Jialongs collided with the Azure Lotus. Boom. 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 The 2 golden Jialongs were incredibly fierce. Gu Jing raised an eyebrow. Detonate. The Azure Lotus immediately exploded. The two Jialongs were instantly repelled and once again transformed back into twin Jian, returning to Zhao Xiaohuan's hands. Both retreated a step. You possess some minor skill, yet still boast so shamelessly. Humph, behold as my twin Jian shatter your longsword and obliterate your very flesh. Zhao Xiaohuan's wild words flowed freely. The twin Jian in his hands rose once more, then struck each other, instantly unleashing a blinding golden light. This golden light enveloped Zhao Xiaohuan's entire body, giving birth to a myriad of profound symbols. Golden Jialong transforms into dragon, raging through 9 heavens. The twin Jian transformed into Jialongs, and the Jialong's aura surged even more ferociously, turning them into 2 golden dragons. Go! Zhao Xiaohuan flung his hand out, sending the 2 golden dragons soaring towards Gu Jing, baring their fangs and brandishing their claws menacingly. Merely 2 paltry mudfish, incapable of stirring up even a ripple, let alone great waves. And to call them golden dragons? Humph, how could the majesty of a true dragon be so pathetic? This is utterly an insult to all dragons. Gu Jing let out a soft shout, her hands flipping. An ancient azure jade pendant materialized in her grasp. Carved upon its surface was an azure dragon. This was the true azure dragon. Allow me to show you what true dragon might entails. Azure dragon jade pendant, unseal. No sooner had Gu Jing finished speaking than the jade pendant in her hand soared into the sky, transforming into a colossal azure dragon that ascended, radiating overwhelming majesty. The immense dragon head emanated boundless awe-inspiring power, the ancient might of dragons, and a majestic, surging aura. With the divine dragon's emergence, all creation bowed in submission. This colossal azure dragon caused Yang Lei's heart to tremble slightly. Terrifying and mighty, its mere presence exuded such formidable power. Yet, he knew this was not a true azure dragon, but merely a wisp of primal energy contained within the azure dragon jade pendant. It couldn't compare to a true azure dragon even 100 millionth. If a genuine azure dragon were to appear, how utterly terrifying, how incredibly potent would it be? It could probably annihilate an entire planet at will. Zhao Xiaohuan's twin Jian, transformed into golden dragons, seemed to falter under the oppressive might of the ancient azure dragon, showing signs of retreat. But how could Zhao Xiaohuan possibly concede defeat like this? No, absolutely not. He poured his own will into the twin Jian, which had become golden dragons, and they once again lunged ferociously towards the azure dragon, determined to tear it to shreds and extinguish it. Audacious! You insignificant golden mudfish, daring to provoke the majesty of my azure dragon. Taste my wrathful flames. The azure dragon opened its wide mouth and spat out a stream of dragon's breath, attacking the 2 golden dragons. The 2 golden dragons hesitated for a moment, then also spewed forth their own breath. Thus, the 2 golden breaths and the single azure breath crashed together, instantly unleashing a powerful explosion of energy, sending brilliant light scattering in all directions. Boom! 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 After a series of explosions, Zhao Xiaohuan's pair of golden jian reverted to their original form and returned to his grasp. A mouthful of blood spurted from Zhao Xiaohuan's lips. These golden jian had been refined by him into his natal weapon, and the recoil from clashing with the azure dragon's power had injured him, and not lightly. Meanwhile, the azure dragon also transformed into a streak of azure light, receding back into the jade pendant, which then flew into Gu Jing's hand. Zhao Xiaohuan hastily retrieved several pills and swallowed them, qi-replenishing pills. These qi-replenishing pills were technically of a higher grade than the origin replenishing pills Yang Lei refined. However, because Yang Lei's origin replenishing pills were of 10/10 perfection, while these qi-replenishing pills were only 8/10, their actual effectiveness wasn't significantly different. In fact, the qi-replenishing pills were slightly inferior. Zhao Xiaohuan's originally somewhat pale complexion quickly regained a rosy flush. More than half of his injuries were instantly restored. Your twin Jian may be divine artifacts, but what does that matter? That technique, Golden Jian transforms into dragon, has already been nullified by me. Let's see what other pathetic tricks you have left. Gu Jing retrieved her jade pendant and summoned her treasure sword. She unleashed sword incantations, instantly sending out several streams of sword qi towards Zhao Xiaohuan. Humph. Zhao Xiaohuan let out a cold snort. So what? Vile woman, you gravely underestimate me. I am a genius of the Zhao family, how could I be so easily defeated? Zhao Xiaohuan then retrieved a single pill. This pill emanated a powerful aura, akin to that of a martial saint, causing Yang Lei's eyes to widen in disbelief. He had never before witnessed such a medicinal pill. Appraisal art. Saint Transformation Pill * an Earth Tier 9th grade medicinal pill. Upon consumption, cultivation immediately reaches great perfection. Martial Saint for 10 minutes. After its effects wear off, the user enters a weakened state for 1 day, with no other adverse side effects. Watching Zhao Xiaohuan prepare to consume this pill, Yang Lei was instantly filled with profound worry. If Zhao Xiaohuan were to ingest it, Gu Jing would undoubtedly suffer defeat. A great perfection Martial Saint for 10 minutes was simply not someone Gu Jing could contend with. By no means let him consume it. If he does, you'll have no chance of victory. Yang Lei hastily transmitted a warning to Gu Jing through his control over his immortal energy. Chapter 197. Seizing the elixir. Although she didn't know how Dune Loi had transmitted his voice to her, Ko Tin understood keenly that Dune Loi's words were indeed true. That pill was terrifying, clearly radiating the aura of a martial saint. Therefore, Ko Tin resolved that she absolutely could not let him consume the elixir. Dream on if you want to consume that elixir. Ko Tin snapped, her body transforming into a bolt of lightning as she fiercely struck Tru Hu Hon with a punch. Caught completely off guard, Tru Hu Hon was sent flying several meters, and the elixir was also knocked away. Ko Tin immediately snatched the Saint Transformation pill. Tru Hu Hon had never imagined that Ko Tin possessed such astonishing speed. In the very instant he was about to consume the elixir, she had appeared before him, sent him flying, and snatched the pill. It wasn't just Tru Hu Hon, even Dune Loi was endlessly astonished. This speed was simply too great. Even he couldn't achieve it, unless he employed instantaneous 1,000 miles, which was practically indistinguishable from true instantaneous movement. My elixir! My elixir! Tru Hu Hon forcefully stood up, his aura surging. Under the immense stimulation, he surprisingly achieved a breakthrough, advancing from the Martial Emperor 3rd stage to the Martial Emperor 4th stage. You dared to snatch my elixir? I'll make you pay with your life. With his cultivation soaring, Tru Hu Hon gripped his twin maces, his entire being transforming into a golden dragon as he lunged towards Ko Tin, courting death. Ko Tin scoffed, seeing his attack. The Green Lotus Sword once again sprang into action. Green Lotus Sword art, 9 nines returned to 1. Her long sword swirled in her hand, and immediately 9 green lotuses appeared, spinning and dancing. The 9 lotuses then merged, transforming into a colossal green lotus, dazzlingly beautiful, radiating an overwhelming presence that gave one a sense of ultimate supremacy. Explode! The colossal green lotus slammed into Tru Hu Hon, immediately sending him flying once more, the outcome leaving no room for doubt. Dune Loi couldn't help but secretly shake his head. This Tru Hu Hon truly didn't know his place. His Saint Transformation pill had already been snatched, and he clearly had no chance of victory, yet he still wanted to fight. Wasn't that just asking for a beating? With the outcome decided, Elder Thien not once again appeared on the arena stage. In this battle, Ko Tin is victorious and receives 1 point. Tru Hu Hon is defeated and receives 0 points. For the next round, Dung Tan Tui will battle Dung Thien Dung, resuming tomorrow morning. After speaking, Elder Thien not once again vanished, and everyone was brought back to the real arena grounds. My elixir! My elixir! Give it back to me! At this moment, Tru Hu Hon's eyes were bloodshot, and he panted like a mad bull, blocking the path of Ko Tin, Dune Loi, and their companion. Get lost! Don't block our path, or I wouldn't mind eliminating you, Dune Loi said, sweeping a cold gaze over him. But Tru Hu Hon didn't take Dune Loi's words to heart at all, acting as if he hadn't heard. He aggressively lunged forward, a surge of violent power emanating from him, as if he intended to tear Dune Loi apart. Dune Loi became enraged. Tru Hu Hon clearly held no regard for him, he was far too arrogant. Tru Hu Hon, you are truly courting death. Eagle Claw skill. With a single claw strike, its power rivaled a martial emperor of grand completion. This attack condensed 70% of Dune Loi's strength. Crack, crack, Tru Hu Hon's arm was forcibly snapped by Dune Loi. Witnessing this, everyone couldn't help but gasp, sucking in cold breaths. That single claw strike was truly terrifying. If it had grabbed someone's head, wouldn't it have been forcibly crushed? Moreover, this True Hugh Hone was a genius disciple of the Zhao family. Dung Loi's actions were sure to provoke conflict between the Zhao family and the Yang family. A struggle between two great aristocratic families was no small matter, it would undoubtedly send shockwaves throughout the Qianyuan kingdom. Ah, you, Dung Loi, you want to die. How dare you treat me like this? I'll kill you. True Hugh Hone, who had been thrown several meters by Dung Loi, hastily consumed a pill. It was an extraordinary elixir, and his crushed arm rapidly recovered. Dung Loi couldn't help but feel a pang of covetousness. This elixir was definitely earth tier, it was the legendary life essence pill. To call such an elixir an immortal healing medicine wouldn't even be enough praise. It was far superior to the Snow Mountain Jade Toad pill he had exchanged for, at least an earth tier 8th grade elixir. The Zhao family truly lived up to its reputation as an elixir-refining aristocratic family. You want to kill me? And you still dare to threaten my life? If I didn't consider you a member of the Zhao family, I would have crushed you to death long ago. If you continue to be so reckless, I wouldn't mind beating you to death right here. You need to understand, being beaten to death here is truly being beaten to death, there's no possibility of resurrection. Dung Loi roared. Scram, get out of my sight. Sensing Dung Loi's terrifying aura, True Hugh Hone knew full well that he was absolutely no match for him. Moreover, there was also Ko Tin, neither of them was someone he could contend with, and both together made it a hopeless endeavor. But True Hugh Hone would not concede defeat so easily. He spat out a venomous threat, very good, Dung Loi, you are very good. Mark my words, I will not let you off. My Zhao family will not spare you. Just you wait. Dung Loi didn't take the guy's words to heart in the slightest. Although the Zhao family was powerful, they couldn't compare to the Profound Mechanism sect, nor could they even contend with the Yang family. Today, the Yang family had a martial god, and even an old eccentric, guarding the scripture pavilion whose cultivation was unfathomably terrifying. Of course, the Zhao family could also try to assassinate him, but so what? Dung Loi wasn't worried or scared, Bok De Trin had awakened, and she was at the martial saint grand completion realm. As long as a martial god wasn't dispatched, there would be no problem at all. And dispatching a martial god? That was a joke. Even if the Zhao family had a martial god, would they really cause trouble for him over such a minor matter? As for Ko Tin, Dung Loi was even less worried. Ko Tin was protected by Elder Gu, whose cultivation was terrifying beyond imagination. Even a martial god like Elder Thien not had to curry favor with him, so one could only imagine how formidable Elder Gu's cultivation truly was. Therefore, Dung Loi didn't care in the slightest about True Hugh Hone's vicious threats. Let's go. On their way, Dung Loi, however, became curious about that saint transformation pill. So he asked, Ko Tin, could you let me see that saint transformation pill for a moment? Take it, it's a gift for you. Ko Tin was surprisingly extremely generous. This saint transformation pill was incredibly precious, yet she casually offered it to Dung Loi as a gift. This indeed made Dung Loi somewhat surprised, but after thinking about it, he quickly relaxed. After all, Ko Tin's status was beyond ordinary comparison, such an elixir, though precious, was not impossible for her to obtain. There's no need for that, just letting me see it will suffice. Equals 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 Chapter 198, Juga 8 Trigrams Formation. 1. Yang Lei shook his head. Although Gu Jing didn't seem to care, this pill wouldn't be of much use if he kept it. Moreover, he could concoct even more potent pills, he just lacked high-grade pill recipes for now. Once he acquired advanced pill recipes, concocting a saint transformation pill would be a trivial matter. I said it's for you, so it's for you, Gu Jing said, waving her hand. Yang Lei smiled, not arguing further. He took the saint transformation pill and weighed it in his hand. This pill was not something an ordinary person could concoct. It absolutely required the true martial intent of a martial saint at great perfection, because a saint transformation pill had to incorporate a wisp of a martial saint great perfection expert's true martial intent. Though the method differed from the true spirit talisman, the outcome was similar. However, the saint transformation pill only required a mere wisp of true martial intent, causing no significant harm to a martial saint at great perfection. Still, it demanded numerous precious medicinal ingredients, and the one concocting it had to be an alchemist, and a high-grade one at that, capable of refining Earth-tier 9th-grade pills. Therefore, while the Saint Transformation pill was incredibly precious, in Xianyuan Kingdom, only the Zhao family undoubtedly possessed such a pill. Of course, the Chongwu continent was vast, and within sects like the Profound Mystery Sect, Profound Heaven Sect, and other immortal Tao sects, such alchemists certainly existed. After a careful look at the Saint Transformation pill, Yang Lei tried to return it to Gu Jing, but she utterly refused to accept it. Yang Lei blinked and said, "Since you don't need it, why not give it to Qing Shui? Neither you nor I require it, but it would certainly be of great use to her." "That works too. Qing Shui sister, you should take the Saint Transformation pill," Gu Jing said with a slight nod. This is too precious. "I cannot accept it, I truly cannot," young Qing Shui hurriedly refused. Yang Lei chuckled, "Just take it. Remember what we obtained during the family trial that day? I'll give a pill to Gu Jing in exchange for this Saint Transformation pill. You accepting it is enough." With that, Yang Lei took out a porcelain bottle containing a pill. Indeed, it was that beauty-retaining pill. "How can this be? Those pills all belong to you, brother Yang. How could I use your pills to exchange for this Saint Transformation pill?" Yang Qing Shui grew even more agitated upon hearing this. "It's nothing. Don't you also have a share of these pills?" Yang Lei said, smiling. However, Yang Qing Shui understood clearly in her heart that those pills were treasures. To receive even a portion was an immense favor. She hadn't contributed any effort, and furthermore, during the family trial, if not for Yang Lei's care, she would have died long ago. Yang Qing Shui was not a greedy person, even if those were supreme-grade, priceless pills. "Take it," Yang Lei said, offering the pill to Gu Jing. "Alright, you should keep this pill for yourself," Gu Jing said. Although she knew the pill Yang Lei took out was certainly extraordinary, perhaps even a perfected pill, she had already received quite a few perfected pills from Yang Lei. It wouldn't be appropriate to accept more. Besides, she had already stated she was giving away the Saint Transformation pill. How could she then accept a pill from Yang Lei in return? Wouldn't that be selfish and breaking her word? Yang Lei, however, just smiled. "Are you truly not accepting it? You'll regret it, you know." "I won't take it. What I say, I stick to," Gu Jing insisted. Although she desperately wanted to know what kind of pill it was, she still shook her head. At this moment, Yang Qing Shui spoke up, "Sister Jing, the pill brother Yang took out isn't an ordinary one. It's the legendary beauty-retaining pill." "A beauty-retaining pill? What? It's really a beauty-retaining pill? Are you joking?" Hearing Yang Qing Shui mention the beauty-retaining pill, Gu Jing hastily snatched the porcelain bottle from Yang Lei's hand. "Ahem, weren't you just saying you didn't want it?" Yang Lei chuckled. Who said I didn't want it? Did I say that? Did I? I didn't say anything, right, Qing Shui sister?" She seized the bottle and inspected it. The label on the porcelain bottle indeed read beauty-retaining pill. Opening it, she saw a lustrous pill emanating a rich spiritual aura, unequivocally a supreme-grade elixir. Moreover, as a woman, Gu Jing was familiar with the appearance of a beauty-retaining pill, so she could tell with a glance if it was the real deal. Yang Qing Shui merely covered her mouth and chuckled softly, offering no reply. Yang Lei shook his head. "Said you didn't want it, but now you do, sigh." "I didn't say it." "I absolutely didn't," Gu Jing retorted as she put away the porcelain bottle. After a pause, she added, "Well, why didn't you make it clear earlier that it was a beauty-retaining pill?" Just as he was about to speak, Yang Lei felt something was amiss. He sensed a murderous aura and frowned deeply. "What's wrong?" Gu Jing quickly asked, seeing Yang Lei's expression. "You're not mad, are you? But anyway, now that this beauty-retaining pill is in my hands, I won't be returning it to you." "Not that. There's a murderous aura," Yang Lei said, shaking his head. "Murderous aura? Could it be Zhao Xiaohuan?" Gu Jing immediately thought of Zhao Xiaohuan. After all, she had defeated him and even taken his Saint Transformation pill. Such a grudge meant he surely wouldn't give up. Yang Lei knew clearly in his heart that not much time had passed, so Zhao Xiaohuan would certainly not have had time to set this up. Therefore, it must be others, and very likely targeting him. Could it be Mad Tiger, seeking revenge for his disciple, Yang Tianfeng? That was possible. Or perhaps the Wang family? He had previously offended Wang Kuei and his father, Wang Zhenjuan. Now, he had beaten Wang Gang, shattered his violent battle puppet, and even crushed his will, planting a shadow in his heart. If Wang Gang couldn't break through this shadow, he would never advance further in cultivation. Such enmity could not be called small, so an ambush by the Wang family was also a possibility. However, at this moment, Yang Lei needed to locate the ambushers and see who they truly were. True Eagle Eye. Under the sweep of his true eagle eye, he immediately detected the ambushers, 4 individuals. One of them Yang Lei recognized, Zhuge Baotao, the very person he had killed during the second round of the selection tournament, from whom he had also obtained the schematics for the Zhuge repeating crossbow. Seeing him, everything became clear. Yang Lei had shattered Zhuge Baotao's hopes of becoming a profound mystery sect disciple, so it was only natural for him to be enraged and seek revenge. However, what surprised Yang Lei was that Zhuge Baotao only sought trouble now, and not earlier. Still, the other 3 individuals caused Yang Lei some concern. Appraisal technique. The 3 individuals were, in order, Zhuge Qi, a martial emperor at the 3rd stage, Zhuge Shi, a martial sovereign at great perfection, and Zhuge Shiqi, a martial sovereign at the 9th stage. All 3 were guards of the Zhuge family. Equals 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 Chapter 199, Zhuge 8 Formations. 2. Show yourself, Zhuge Baotao. You, my defeated foe, this time I shall ensure that you come but never return. I will truly annihilate you. Yang Lei declared to the 4 figures of Zhuge Baotao, who were concealed not far ahead. Audacious. Arrogant. Do you truly believe this time will be the same as before? Humph. This time, I shall have you dead. I will kill you. As for the 2 women by your side, I will play with them until I'm bored, then sell them to the meanest brothel to become the lowest harlots, entertaining hundreds of guests every single day. Haha. Haha. This is the consequence of daring to offend me. Zhuge Baotao stepped out, flanked by his 3 bodyguards, glaring at Yang Lei, his eyes blazing with unconcealed hatred. Damn you. You deserve to die. I will flay your skin, rip out your tendons, hack your corpse into 10,000 pieces. Even dying 10,000 times wouldn't atone for your crimes. Zhuge clan be damned. So what if you're the Zhuge clan? Because of your words today, your Zhuge clan will suffer a devastating blow, perhaps even total annihilation. Hearing Zhuge Baotao's venomous words, Gu Jing's fury surged to the heavens, and she immediately crushed a transmission talisman. Crushing the transmission talisman was to summon her grandfather. Though enraged, she was genuinely worried. There might be hidden masters in the shadows. If a martial saint, or even a more powerful expert, were present, things would turn troublesome. Hence her quick message, hoping Elder Gu would arrive swiftly. Additionally, she wanted to deal with that so-called Zhuge clan. No good, young master. She's crushed a transmission talisman. We must act quickly, or else an expert will arrive, and we'll be in trouble. Zhuge Qi, who stood beside Zhuge Baotao, saw Gu Jing crush the talisman. It was too late to stop her, which explained his urgent tone. After all, these 2 were prodigies among prodigies, not easily dealt with. Their backing forces were certainly not to be underestimated. If they were to cause great trouble for the Zhuge clan, the blame would be immense. Kill them. Kill them for me. Zhuge Baotao also understood the gravity of the situation. They absolutely had to eliminate the 3 of them quickly, before their reinforcements arrived, and then depart immediately. Otherwise, things would become truly troublesome. You 2, step back. I'll handle them, Yang Lei said. You're facing 4 of them alone? Are you sure you can manage? Qin Shui and I can take on 2 of them, Gu Jing said. Yang Lei's mouth twitched involuntarily upon hearing that. Can you manage? Such words were not what a man liked to hear. As a man, there was nothing he couldn't do. A man must be resolute. It's nothing. Just a few small fry. Although he couldn't use the Heaven Blade's first form again, he could still use the Wind Blade 7 kills. The 5 kills fusion of the Wind Blade 7 kills, with its 25-fold battle strength, was more than enough to deal with these guys. Otherwise, he could always summon Bai Suzhen, a great perfection martial saint, who could easily handle them. Small fry, humph. What big talk. Zhuge Qi, hearing this, couldn't help but fly into a rage. He, a dignified martial emperor, was actually called small fry by someone. His status in the Zhuge clan was quite high. When he traveled outside, who didn't show him deference? Who didn't treat them with respectful, fearful eyes? Yet here, he was openly called small fry. How could he not be angry? How could he not be enraged? You brat, today I'll show you who the true small fry are. I'm taking your head. Mere ants. And you think you can take my head? Humph. Yang Lei conjured his little flying dagger. A cold glint flashed in his eyes, and the flying dagger was already launched. Ding. Little flying dagger triggered one-hit kill. Ding. Congratulations to player for slaying Zhuge Qi, a martial emperor of the third stage. EXP points increased by 30 million, Qi cultivation value increased by 300,000, and accumulation points increased by 300,000. Ding. Congratulations to player for acquiring one piece of the Zhuge 8 formations diagram. Killed in a single exchange. Zhuge Baodao was dumbfounded. Zhuge Qi was one of the Zhuge clan's 8 great protectors, already a martial emperor. He ranked 7th among the 8 great protectors, yet his cultivation was among the top. To be slain in a single exchange, just how terrifying was this Yang Lei? Flee. Flee. Only by fleeing was there any hope of survival. Zhuge Baodao was utterly terrified, his gallbladder feeling as if it might burst. He desperately fled forward. At this moment, the 2 other bodyguards also reacted. How could they dare to linger? The young master had already fled. If they didn't run now, when would they? A single word, run. Seeing this, Yang Lei let out a cold snort. Fleeing now, are we? Little flying dagger, never miss shot. With a flick of his wrists, 3 flying daggers instantly appeared. These 3 flying daggers transformed into 3 streaks of white light, shooting towards the 3 fleeing figures. The 3 flying daggers immediately pierced through their garments, then their hearts. They instantly fell dead. Ding. Congratulations to player for slaying Zhuge Shuri, a great perfection martial king. EXP points increased by 9 million, Qi cultivation value increased by 90,000, and accumulation points increased by 90,000. Ding. Congratulations to player for slaying Zhuge Shuri, a martial king of the 9th stage. EXP points increased by 8 million, Qi cultivation value increased by 80,000, and accumulation points increased by 80,000. Ding. Congratulations to player for slaying Zhuge Baodao. EXP points increased by 700,000, Qi cultivation value increased by 7,000, and accumulation points increased by 7,000. These 3 fellows didn't drop anything. The system was too stingy. But it was good that one piece of the Zhuge 8 formations diagram dropped. One piece of the Zhuge 8 formations diagram, this implied there were likely 8 pieces in total for this 8 formations diagram. Appraisal skill. One piece of the Zhuge 8 formations diagram, replica. An Earthrank 1st grade formation diagram. Collecting all 8 pieces can complete the full Zhuge 8 formations diagram, possessing immense power. It's a replica again, and even this replica has reached Earthrank 1st grade. So if it were the genuine Zhuge 8 formations diagram, just how monstrous would its power be? Moreover, that was merely one piece. 8 pieces, it wasn't a simple additive sum of 1 plus 1. Its power would definitely be more than 8 times greater. Although his only gain this time was this Zhuge 8 formations diagram piece, he had still gained a considerable amount of accumulation points. He checked, and today his accumulation points had reached 3,580,000. Exiting the system interface, he saw the 2 women staring at him. In shock. How are you so powerful? Equals 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 Chapter 200. Another replication. Gu Jing truly couldn't believe her own eyes. For individuals, 1 martial emperor, 2 martial sovereigns, and 1 martial king, had been dealt within an instant. This, even a martial saint couldn't have accomplished it with such ease. Truly formidable, beyond imagination. Yang Lei chuckled, it's merely that they were incompetent. Furthermore, they were completely unprepared for my flying daggers, which is why I was able to kill them so easily. In truth, Yang Lei understood perfectly that if he hadn't activated his one-hit kill skill against Zhuge Qi, he would have truly expended some effort. My grandfather has arrived. Gu Jing was about to speak when she sensed Old Man Gu's arrival. Little Jing, are you unharmed? Sure enough, in a flash, Old Man Gu's figure materialized before them. Seeing Gu Jing, he asked worriedly. I'm fine, Grandpa. I'm perfectly all right. They were all killed by Xiao Lei, Gu Jing said. Grandpa, you must teach that Zhuge clan a lesson. That Zhuge Baodao is utterly detestable. He even threatened to sell your granddaughter to a brothel, to become the lowliest prostitute, forced to serve 100 men a day. If you don't avenge me, then I won't acknowledge you as my grandpa anymore. What? How dare they be so audacious, to utter such words? Old Man Gu also became enraged. Gu Jing was the apple of his eye, his most beloved granddaughter. Someone actually dared to threaten selling his granddaughter to a brothel to become the lowliest prostitute. How could he not be furious? Little Jing, rest assured. That Zhuge clan, I absolutely will not let them live comfortably. Now that's more like it, Gu Jing said. Seeing the blazing fury in Old Man Gu's eyes, Yang Lei's heart trembled. A martial god like Old Man Gu, when enraged, would naturally shake heaven and earth. Old Man Gu. Grandpa Gu. Good, Xiao Lei, you did very well. Qing Shui, are you unharmed? Old Man Gu looked at Yang Lei and Yang Qing Shui with concern. Nothing happened. How could anything happen to me? They were merely insignificant nobodies, Yang Lei said with a smile. You rascal, insignificant nobodies, indeed. And martial emperors are insignificant nobodies? Haven't seen you in a few days, and your cultivation has soared, kid. You're already a 5th-stage martial sovereign, and you even annihilated a 3rd-stage martial emperor. I truly wonder how you cultivate. Old Man Gu appraised Yang Lei, extremely astonished. Oh, that's right, I still need to thank you for your tenfold pills. In the future, if you have any needs, just tell me. I will certainly do my best. Yang Lei shook his head and said, Old Man Gu, you're being too polite. It was just a few pills, a small matter. Besides, Old Man Gu has already given me no small amount of help. The value of the True Spirit Talisman far exceeds those few pills. You can't say that. Old Man Gu insisted. Your tenfold pill has been profoundly important to me. It has given me hope of a breakthrough. This great favor, if I don't repay it, then what kind of person would I be? This old man is not one to forget favors and betray trust. Xiao Lei, if you have any requests, just state them. Even if you want a divine artifact or a super divine artifact, I will do my best to prepare it for you. Seeing Old Man Gu speak with such insistence, Yang Lei understood clearly that refusing would likely be impossible, so he nodded lightly. Since Old Man Gu has said so, then I'll think about it once I get back and tell you later. Haha, Old Man Gu, you might find yourself in a difficult position then. Who knows, perhaps later I'll truly have some difficult matter to seek your help with. That might not be an easy matter, you know. You rascal. Old Man Gu couldn't help but laugh and scold, but in his heart, he was endlessly grateful to Yang Lei. Oh, that's right, Old Man Gu, this item might also be of great use to you. At this moment, Yang Lei took out a blood essence pill. This is another blood essence pill. This item, how did you acquire it? Old Man Gu was shocked. This was a blood essence pill. Not an ordinary medicinal pill, compared to those great strength diamond pills from before, its value was immeasurable. This was something cultivators like him yearned for. Old Man Gu was already very old, his lifespan had barely 60 years left. This single blood essence pill meant he could increase his lifespan by 20 years. Moreover, the important thing about this blood essence pill was its ability to replenish blood essence, making a person younger, which would greatly increase the possibility of a breakthrough. Old Man Gu, you shouldn't ask too many questions about this. This item might be helpful to you, Old Man Gu, Yang Lei said. This? Xiao Lei, I cannot accept this pill. It's too precious. Even a divine artifact might not be able to trade for it. You should keep it for yourself. Even if you don't need it, surely someone among your family members will find it useful. But Old Man Gu shook his head and pushed the pill back into Yang Lei's hand. Old Man Gu, just take it. I still have a few more, Yang Lei said. That's right, Grandpa, just take it. After all, Xiao Lei isn't an outsider, Gu Jing said. Hearing Gu Jing's words, Old Man Gu was stunned. Not an outsider? Could he be his grandson-in-law? Yang Lei, meanwhile, also understood the implication. After Old Man Gu was stunned, he looked at Gu Jing, then at Yang Lei for a moment, and seemed to understand. Then he laughed heartily and said, right, Xiao Lei isn't an outsider. Then I won't be polite. Looking at Yang Lei, Old Man Gu thought, if his granddaughter could form a dual cultivation partnership with Yang Lei, that would truly be a joyous occasion. A person like Yang Lei, with boundless potential, would surely become a treasure in the future. For Gu Jing, this would also be a good destiny. Gu Jing, on the other hand, still didn't quite understand what was happening, and said with a smile, that's how it should be. It's just a pill, after all, Xiao Lei isn't lacking any. Yang Lei, on the other hand, was somewhat exasperated. Haha. Right, little Jing is not wrong. Old Man Gu burst out laughing. Old Man Gu, don't misunderstand, it's not like that, Yang Lei said with a bitter smile. I know, you don't need to explain, Old Man Gu said. Alright, let's return to the inn now. As for the Zhuge clan's problem, I will deal with it. They actually dared to cause trouble for my granddaughter and Xiao Lei, and even my future grandson-in-law. They truly must have eaten the heart of a bear and the guts of a leopard. Speaking of this, Old Man Gu's face was filled with killing intent. Yang Lei returned to his courtyard. He surveyed the layout of the small courtyard, although there was an illusion array, it wasn't very secure. This time, his enmity with the Wang clan truly amounted to a major problem. Therefore, he summoned Bai Suzhen, and Xiao Lang was also summoned alongside her. As for Xiao Lang, Yang Lei simply decided to use him as a guard dog. Equals 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 equals